Terrell? I brought a friend.
What seems to be the problem?
Now I'm the king of the skin jobs, oh, an X6, that's me. 4 years I've got and then I'll stop, and that's what's bothering me. I wanna go meet my maker, yeah, he lives in LA town. And cause some strife, cause I want more life, I'm tired of fucking around. Oh, ooby-doo, I wanna be like you. Live as long as you feel like you. You see it's true, a replicant like me can learn to be human too.
You were made as well as we could make you, but not to last. The light that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and you have burned so very, very brightly, Roy.
Now don't bullshit me, Tyrell. Just fix my DNA. That's what I desire, you fucking liar, and I will go away. Give me the secret, Tyrell, and you know just what to do. That's the plan, a long lifespan, so I can be like you. Oh, ooby-doo, I want to be like you. Live as long as you feel like you. You see it's true, a replicant like me can learn to be human too. Can learn to be human too. Can learn to be human too.
I'll be doing
Hello and welcome to episode 234 of the Blackdog podcast. Is that owl real?
Is that what?
Is that owl real?
Is that our real?
Owl.
Oh,
owl.
owl. Sorry.
Is that your owl?
Owl.
Is it expensive?
Is it a owl?
Is it yeah.
Is it a owl?
Owl? Call me owl.
Is it a owl?
There you go. Call me owl.
Call me owl.
Ow, this is painful.
Yeah. This is terrible intro link. Anyway, yes, this is episode 234 of the Black Dog podcast. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim. And I'm Elton.
Coming straight to you from Australia.
And this week we're also joined by a special guest, Mr. Andy Poulastides.
B26364. I'm filed and monitored.
Thank you. That's not Blade Runner number though, is it? It's your special register number that we don't talk about.
Special registry. Isn't that Mr. Darren?
Yeah, Mr. Diamond. Yes.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah. So anyway, yes.
Find out about
What? No. I never mentioned it.
Hate it, man.
Shut up! I didn't say anything. Anyway, this week we'll have a bit of a chat, and then we'll have news. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you can hear aggressive maring across the universe, and then we'll have a shitty superhero and a Profanosaurus. Yes. And then we're on to this week's film, which is the second film we've re-reviewed. Back from our days when I think it was episode 15 or something like that. Yeah, Blade Runner.
When we were but wee nippers.
Yeah, when we had one microphone and it hung off a coat hanger in the middle of the room.
Indeed.
We're not
You need that
even
Ridley Scott
joking.
music from the Hovis advert.
Yeah.
Was it way back in the mist of time before you started feedbacking to us, Jim? I do
It was.
believe there was
It
once a
was.
time. Yes.
There was.
Dark times before the Empire.
Yeah.
We must be cautious.
Yeah. It was when our regular feedbacker at the end of the cast was Mr. Brad Thornton.
Yes, that's right. Who did that rather wonderful
Aliens,
aliens feedback that one time?
Exactly. But anyway, yeah, and then as all good Pokemon do, Brad evolved to his super state, which was Jim. No, and we're here.
We are.
And, anyway, so then we'll do Blade Runner to coincide with its cinema release of the final cut, and so let's not hold on. Let's do feedback and all that stuff, and yes, let's get on with it. So,
right, feedback. Night, folks.
It was good. Bye.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Yeah, we done loved it. Peace out, mic drop, tonight. But anyway, before we get on with that, let's do how everyone's week has been. And so, with a guest here, we go to the guest first. And so, Mr. Poulastides, how was your week?
Oh, it's been a fun old week. I started in your favourite city on the entire planet, Mr. Medcalf.
Oh, yes, you did, didn't you? Yes.
I was in Paris. Yeah, loads of fun. I don't have a problem with the Parisians quite as much as Lee does, but there you go. So I was over there in the gorgeous summer weather in spring, which was lovely. And then I've come back, and I've mostly been building guns.
Mostly.
Yeah, I've been seeing them. They're very good.
Yes. Yeah, which guns? Which one are you on now? You're on the pulse rifle, aren't you?
Yeah, I've just finished the DL-44 blaster Han Solos from A New Hope.
Nice.
And I've just given a base coat to my pulse rifle. So yes, they mostly will come out at night. Mostly.
Have you modified your Han Solo blaster so that if you press a button, it turns into a Zimmer frame?
I haven't installed the episode 7 mod yet because I'm waiting to see the new film to find out exactly how it works. But as soon as I do,
Has it got a button on it? That calls a special number for if you fall over and break your hip.
Can't get up.
Yeah. That's on my holster. Helps if you crash your plane as well.
Yeah, it's got a card on the outside saying we don't answer cold callers.
Yes, no junk mail either.
No junk mail. We do not deal with vendors on the doorstep. Cool. So that's been it, has it?
Yes. It seems like more than actually it was, but no, that was it.
Cool. Oh, right. Okay, then there you go. So let's move on to let's do Jim. Jim, how's your week been, sir?
It's been reasonably quiet, actually. I've just been hard at work getting podcasts in the bag.
Yes.
As in the future, I'll be away weekends, and so...
What? What is this?
Yeah.
What do we pay you for, Jim? What's all this
You don't
time?
pay me at all.
Who booked that in?
I'm away for the weekend.
Who authorised that time off? What's going on?
Quick, activate the anti-escape orb.
Cool.
But other than that, I've actually had some fresh air, courtesy of being roped into doing my sister's garden while she's away.
Mm.
And by both my mother and my father. So it's kind of like, I'm pretty sick of being here. This is my garden. But it has been nice to be away from the desk and in the sun for a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, so, well, other than that, really not done a lot of interest, so just move swiftly on.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I was going to say, because I have to say it was a fantastic return to my commuting on Monday, listening to you on a Monday doing a Hypnagoria. It was like, oh my God, it's 2012 again. It's amazing. So, yeah. But now, just know my luck. Anyway, I'll get onto my bit in a minute. Elton!
I've been very, very quiet this weekend. It sounds like we've all just been quite quiet.
You were standing on a roof again. You had a panoramic.
Oh, yeah. Every now and again, I whip out my camera while at the top of the building. Who doesn't?
As long as your camera you're whipping out, you're fine.
Still haven't done the Skyfall picture yet, have you?
No, you got to go up on the roof of
got to do
Westminster.
that. You got to do that and get someone to take a picture from you from behind, looking over the city.
Yeah. In a long coat.
In a long coat, yeah.
No.
In the boiling hot sunshine. It's got to be a black coat as well, just to make it even more comfortable for you.
I shall try my best.
Excellent stuff. Not a donkey jacket, but a nice... Well, actually, no, a donkey jacket, yes. Put a donkey jacket on.
Any other requests?
Suspenders.
Yeah, a Carmen Miranda-style headdress.
Yeah, Batman cape.
Bonnet ears.
Banana ears, yeah.
No,
Actually, yeah.
Bonnet ears.
Oh, bunny.
Yeah.
Oh, right, sorry.
They call them bonnet ears, as in Buneh.
I'd quite like to see him on a rooftop in a Banana Man costume, actually.
That would be appropriate as well, given his unnatural love of bananas as well. That seems to be going on a Facebook group. I've made a banana. I have a banana.
We could maybe start rumours that they're filming a Banana Man film.
Yeah, Scott Matheson would be well pleased with that.
His company
He'll be the
works for,
only
won't they? Because they want to know where their royalties are.
Yeah. Sorry, Elton?
He'll be the only one looking forward to the Banana Man. I thought that was a load of guff, that program.
Do you know what? Half the blokes I work with don't even know who Banana Man is.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
I was going to say, Elton, you've got a great track record of engaging audiences with on other people's podcasts. Yeah. How's the Loom Keeney fan mail going along? Sorry.
I haven't been in touch with him yet.
Oh dear. I'll explain it another time. But if
you've already told me about the Loom Keeney guy. Fucking hell.
Yeah, he's not following us unless I put a Google search in there for him. Cool. Okay. Well, moving on. Darren, how's your week been?
How's my week been?
Yeah.
Well, I've done some stuff.
Have you?
Yeah, stuff. To start off with, this week went to the cinema to continue my massive list of cinema watching type things for the end of this year when we do like the review. It's gonna drop down to the big scroll.
It's
basically.
just gonna be you on your own, isn't it?
It is.
I'm just gonna leave the tape running and go home.
That's right.
Yeah, I haven't seen any yet.
It's going to be longer than Father Christmas's list. Trust me. I went to see John Wick.
Yes.
This week, starring Keanu Reeves, about a man whose dog gets kicked to death and then he goes on a fucking rampage. And I've got to say that it's really, really a satisfying watch.
Yes.
Because unlike some screen good guys, when they shoot a bad guy, they have a little bit of a monologue. No. When you come at John Wick, okay, he shoots you and then he shoots you in the face. And it's always in the face. He's always shooting people in the face. Every single time, in the face. Just, I'm not joking.
And then he shoots somebody else instead of doing a one-liner.
Yeah.
He shoots them in the face. It's usually been called John Wick Kills the Universe.
He doesn't actually do one-liners. He just does one-worders. Yeah. Or something like that. Yeah, dead. He doesn't speak much, but his actions speak an awful lot louder than words. They really,
I know.
really do. I don't know what the body count was by the end of this, but it's just... well, they call. I think the nickname they give him in the film, or he's known as. They say some sort of. I think it was a Russian name they give him.
Babiushka.
And he said, yeah, they say it's what the boogeyman. He goes, no, this is the man we send when we want to bring in the boogeyman.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely true. He's just literally unstoppable. Really, really is. So
another great thing about it is the cinematographer found a tripod. It's the only one in all of
He
Hollywood.
certainly did, yes.
That they found a tripod.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, of course, because you were there, Andy.
I was?
With me. Yes.
Was I?
Yes, you were.
Man, that coat was fucking heavy duty stuff,
It
man.
certainly was, yes. So there we go, there for some killing action. So yes, I recommend it. It's a good. It's not anything too deep. Trust me.
No, yeah.
But when you see how cute the small dog is, and then you see what happens to it, you like all bets are off. I feel no pity for any of these people.
It's that speech he gives about the dog and its connection to his wife.
Exactly.
You've taken it on. Okay, I'm out.
That's it. And then, he goes to work with the sledgehammer on the floor, and there's the weapons. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yes, John Wick. Highly recommend it. So
yeah.
See it if you can.
Cool.
Let's see.
That's a Keanu Reeves movie.
Keanu Reeves movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good, mate. It is really good.
It is good.
It really is. It's a good. If you want some good old fashioned shooty entertainment, then I would say you can do an awful lot worse than this.
Yeah.
See, I've never had a problem with Keanu Reeves. I always thought he was pretty solid. But yeah, you hear rumours of him just, I don't know, losing it a little bit, I suppose.
Well, no, he's actually it's amazing how he actually lives his life. I mean, he doesn't have any bodyguards. He travels on the subway to get to places. He's just really. I mean, I think even his house he lives in is quite run down. So he's.
No, I like that about him.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
He's meant to be a really generous guy to work with as well. On the Matrix films, he bought his entire stunt team motorcycles, every single one of them.
That's handy.
There you go. Yeah. That's it. I know where I'm going for my next job.
Ironically, the stunt team were the people who were directing John Wick.
Were they?
Yeah.
Blimey.
The stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
Was it unofficial co-director? Yeah.
Yeah, they were the second unit assistant. They were second unit, weren't they, on the second and third Matrix movies?
Indeed. So, other things. Let's see. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Pirates.
On the Xbox. Pirates and more pirates.
Jim Lad.
Possibly the best Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Because it's got pirates.
Because it's got pirates. You get to sail around in a fucking big pirate ship and blow the shit out of other... You get to do the broadside. There you go. Take that.
Pirates.
Constantine.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, he hasn't got very far in it, Andy. Don't say anything.
No, shush.
Oh.
Shush.
Zit.
Yes. So I've only just got the ship. I've only just gone to my first island and found a fragment. So I went off and dived in the water and swam to the island and whatever.
Yeah.
I think I've got a nice little screenshot of the ship just sitting there in the water. It looks lovely. Such a lush game.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? Oh, finally got to see Daredevil.
Oh, yes.
Hey.
Yeah, I managed to get to see...
Because we didn't mention that enough last week.
We didn't, no. But I've seen the first 2 episodes now of Daredevil, and I have to say, great show. Really, really good. Especially the fighting in it. Not to give too much away, but when you watch the actual fight, you'll notice that Daredevil actually does get worn out. And it's quite a realistic style of fighting. It's not, he takes on 17 blokes and then stands there and walks off normally. No, he is ready for bed after that. He's ready to go back for a cup of Horlicks and then just, with a pair of slippers, listen to the Archers on the radio and then just saunter off to bed.
Yeah.
Because he just looks knackered every time he finishes fighting.
That corridor shot.
Yeah. There is a very nice fight sequence, episode 2.
Yeah.
Okay, very, very nice. Very well choreographed, almost in single shot.
It is a single shot. It's a 6-minute single take.
There is a bit when it looks into shadow, so they cut it there. You know they cut it there.
No, it's 6 minute. They got a documentary on how they did it.
So it is all one shot?
Yeah.
Blimey.
It's a single 6-minute shot.
It is. It's very, very good, though.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So
cool.
I'm looking forward to watching the rest of that.
Yes.
And finally, the other thing that I'll leave that for you to get to about a little get together we went to on the weekends. Yes, for Leslie Gold and Martin Jones went over to theirs and
Dr.
joined.
Johns.
Yeah, Dr. Johns, and joined a whole load of other people for a lovely barbecue.
Yes, and in my case, staying until 1 o'clock in the morning playing Cards Against Humanity.
Hey, there you go, fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good time, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Really good afternoon barbecue in the sun until the sun just went slightly over the brow of the house, and then it turned into Hoth in about 2 seconds flat.
It's a typical British springtime where it's hot in the sun, and when you step into shadow, then it turns freezing.
You need your winter woolies.
You certainly do.
But it was lovely. It's good. It was a good day.
It was a very good day. Lots of lovely food there as well.
Yes.
So
bacon jam.
Bacon jam. Tried that for the first time. Lovely.
Yeah. Like bacon jam.
Crumbly bacon jam.
Yes. Cool. And that was it, wasn't it, for your week?
Yes, as far as I can remember.
Cool. Okay. My week. On Monday, I went for an interview at Stargate Studios to work on a TV series. I got offered the job on Monday.
Excellent.
And I start tomorrow.
Woo!
Hey!
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I went there. It's kind of a new startup of a well-established studio that works on things like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Ugly Betty. It's worked on basically anything that seems to want to have a massive, great big set, but actually the set is digital. That's the main thing. But they're based in LA and Vancouver. But now, thanks to wonderful tax breaks from our esteemed leaders, they've decided to open up a studio over here. And so the ground floor studio, as it were, has the sort of base camp for this invasion has landed in Ealing Studios in the Alec Guinness building.
Doesn't sound as glamorous as, where is it? LA and what?
Vancouver.
LA, Vancouver.
Ealing.
There you go.
Well, actually, I think it's just London. That's how they do it.
Oh, right, London.
So,
Peckham.
Yeah, exactly. Peckham.
Darford.
Balham, gateway to the south. So basically I start there tomorrow. Or today, depending on when you hear this cast. And, and we're going to be working on a Rob Lowe TV series to start with, called Apocalypse Slough. I won't go into it, because the bits I've seen, I don't want to give anything away, but it's a 10-part thing. Yeah. It's going to be on Sky, and I'm going to be working on that for 6 months.
I hope it looks a bit better than that other post-apocalyptic one they've got on ITV, Cockroaches.
No.
Just because it's got Jack Whitehall in that one.
No. This has got.
That's the apocalypse there and then.
Yeah,
isn't
it? Jack Whitehall is your only saviour, the last person on Earth. Yeah, well, fine. Just cut the cord. I think Earth's time to go.
Funny.
So I've done that. But then, ironically, as things always are, the thing that I was working on that I couldn't talk about before, which I can now partially talk about, which was a thing.
This is going to be a thing of give us a clue.
It's working its way up there. Yes.
Right. Guess who?
Yeah, guess who?
It's a swimming pool.
Yeah, no. It was something based on Mars.
Okay.
And it's for a pitch to.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was the trailer that we did as a pitch that I got paid for, and I was making spaceships and rovers and things on Mars and Mars itself. And just as I went, yep, fine, I'll have that. Thank you very much, Mr. Stargate person. I'm going to have your job. Got an email saying, we want to start making a sort of a longer version of that trailer for a proper pitch and money making and funding and everything. Yeah, starting in June.
In June?
Yeah. And it's like, but I'm going to be working at Stargate till September.
Well, that was the end of the cast. This has been fantastic.
I'm going now. Yeah. Then I got an email. Then I got an email from the guys at Predator Dark Ages. Mm-hmm. They've got a premiere date now for Comic-Con, which is in May.
Ooh, right.
Which means that everything needs to be done by the end of April.
Which Comic-Con are we talking
The London MCM.
Ah, right. Okay.
It's going to be premiered.
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. So there's that. So I've got to do that.
You get to go to that?
Well, I'd imagine so, because they're going to have a little stand.
Still got to pay a ticket.
My name's
digitally animate the crew there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm on. My name's on the poster, mate. And it's all literally all happened this week. It's like here's 4 jobs,
bastards.
It's like
so a man can't walk down the street without someone offering him a bloody job.
Yeah.
Fucking chucking jobs at me left, right, and centre. They are. I can't move for jobs being chucked at me. Anyway, so yeah, just the instant I'm kind of like, yes, I'm going to take that job. 4 jobs. Okay, right, fine. So that's my main bit of news, really, more than anything. Mm-hmm. What else? Watched no films. I've just watched. Oh, yes, actually, it's just come back to me.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Barnard, Mr. Elton. I spent 3 3/4 hours watching something based on your recommendation.
Oh, okay.
Called Attack on Titan.
Uh-huh.
Oh dear.
What?
Batten down the hatches, listeners.
Yeah.
Get out! Get out of there! Get out!
What the actual fuck do you guys see in that?
I enjoy it. That's it. I can get past the shouty parts.
6 episodes of shouty parts before anything actually
I've
happens.
I've seen the entire thing. That's it now. I've seen the entire first one.
Did you make it past the Battle of, is it Tross?
What, the first...
What the fuck is Tross?
It's the sector behind one of the walls.
Is it the one... Okay. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say it. I didn't like this film. I didn't like this, and I have no compulsion about spoilers. But if anyone has compulsions about spoilers, probably best to avoid for the next 10 minutes. Basically...
We're going to finish this at 3 o'clock in the morning,
No. We're going to get this out of the way.
This was looking good.
This was looking good.
This is it.
No. Basically, yeah.
Nature abhors a vacuum.
Exactly. I watched all the episodes up until one character gets properly eaten.
That's like the second episode.
No.
That's about the second episode.
That is
No,
not.
they've had
No,
the
actually, no,
train
it's about the 4th or 5th episode.
No, it's the 9th episode.
9th episode?
It's the 9th episode.
Is it?
Yes.
They had a lot of training before then.
Oh, yeah, training. What, dangling upside down and everyone going, I hate you. No, I hate you too. Oh, we will be friends. Yes, we will. No, we won't. Yes, no. Ah, eat the loaf. Eat the loaf. There's lots of people getting loaves shoved in their mouth in a kind of oral sex kind of fashion as well. I don't quite understand the significance of stuffing loaves in people's mouths, but there seemed to be a lot of it. Or maybe they just had the same animation. They just recoloured the hair.
And then they talk about being eaten by a Titan.
Yes, exactly. And getting inside a Titan. Yeah. Anyway, the thing is, when the Spacker Titan turned up, that's when I just checked out for completely. When he comes flopping round the corner like Phoebe from Friends running through the park, and then the anonymous Miyayaki or whatever her name is, the one who does
Mikasa.
That's the one who says nothing in particular, yet somehow we're supposed to see her as deep and meaningful, and then all of a sudden she becomes a badass in episode 9 just because. And
no, she's a badass anyway.
She's a badass because people run away from her in episode 1. She punches someone in episode 3, and that's it. Then 3 other anonymous Asian ladies.
You see that you didn't make it. This is the thing. If you'd seen when she actually sort of like
I saw her go to town on the Titan because she brings down Mr. Floppy Spacker one in the doorway, and then she gets cornered by another one, which then turns out to be the person who got eaten. I mean, that was when I just went, right, fine, I'm out.
Just because you didn't stay and listen to why he turned into what he turned into.
That was in episode 10. Let's put it this way, each episode was 30 minutes long. I'd done 9 of them in a row.
20 minutes long.
And we're very proud of you.
Yes, well done. Golf clap.
They weren't 20 minutes long.
They were. They're about 20 minutes long.
They're not. They're 20... Okay, let's split the difference. Let's say they're 25 minutes long.
25 minutes long.
That's 9 of them. So that's like 3 is an hour. I've done nearly 3 3/4 hours of this shit, and all I got to was one guy getting eaten, and then basically coming back from the dead as one of the things that eaten him, and then everyone else going, we're really angry, we're really trained, we're really fighting.
It's not all, ladies and gentlemen, it's not all like that, trust me.
Right, okay, I'll tell you what.
He's cutting out everything in between and just doing the noises.
Yeah, because there was a lot of plot going on. It was layered. It was dripping with plot.
No, you're in it for the long haul. If you like the premise of it, then I think you're
I did like the premise of it, but the premise of it was fine until one guy turned up and was angry about everything from the cobblestones to the front door to the fact he was wearing shoes to the fact someone was looking at him funny to the fact that someone just took a loaf of bread and gave it to him very kindly, considering his house had been destroyed. They've given me bread. How dare they? It's like, just eat the fucking bread. And someone sticks a loaf of bread in his mouth.
Did you see it when she split the potato?
Euphemism.
Sorry, Jim, have we given one of yours away?
Split the potato.
That's next week.
Yeah, that's when we do Attack on Titan next week. No, and then
splitting the potato.
It just
I await with bated breath.
And then there's these super titans, the ones that can run through walls and smash things down and all this kind of thing. And whenever it looks like they're just about to do something really big and mean, and it's like, oh, this is it, this is the end of everything, suddenly, poof, they disappear. It's like, oh, right, so this one that ran through this wall then appears and runs through the next wall, and then appears and runs through the next wall. They're only going to do this once or twice. They're not going to do it just like run all the way through the entire building. Oh no, we got to do this stages. It's just like, by the end of it, I was just like, oh, fuck off. Just fuck off. And how you spend 6 episodes watching people get trained, and then you lose who's who. You have no idea who's who, because they're all shouting at each other, and then they're all changing hair colours, and then they're all wearing different colours and styles and everything.
And then, okay, tell you what, we'll give you a montage and have it all done in like 5 minutes, yeah?
Well, do you know what? That would have done it, because I tell you what, everyone was fucking dead by the end of episode 6.
No, because it's a fucking montage, and it's the cheesiest thing to do.
The point was that you got to meet about 15 characters in 6 episodes, and every single one of them was dead by episode 6.
Well, that's it.
Right? Ain't that
That's
great?
fine. They died. That's it. It happens in war. People get killed.
Yeah, it's great. So then the whole thing comes down to being focused on Lady Badass with the monitor.
Isn't that a comic from Avatar? Crossed over the Witchblade.
It's focused on humanity versus the Titans.
Yes.
So, humanity
But
is
the Titans
expendable.
don't appear in it. The Titans are in like 3 episodes.
Yeah, okay, so
Out of 9.
you always moan about seeing monsters all the time. Oh, God, it's taken away from the monsters. Oh, don't show the monsters. Oh, we can see, it's ruining it now. We can see them all the time.
I don't
And
know
they
your
don't
hate,
do it,
young
and then you're
Elton.
sat there going, oh, they didn't show it enough.
Focus it on him.
Bloody hell, I'm going to write a stern letter about this.
Yes, I can feel your anger.
Use your aggressive feet.
Good.
Make this weapon strike you down. Turning to my dark side will be complete.
Every more moment you make yourself more and more my slave.
In
I'm
this-
afraid this McManus will be far more operational when your friends arrive. Vagina.
Anyway, all I'm saying is, if the whole thing was given this whole big thing about like, oh, they're terrible, or they're horrible, they're everywhere, they've driven humanity into a corner, and yet we get no indication of that except for a bunch of guys coming in on horseback. They attack something you don't really see, and then like 3 episodes later, something big and skinless goes and attacks a wall, and then it's like, okay, right, fine, we're off now, and then just as soon as they appear, they disappear. Everything just goes away again. And we're back to square one. And then it's like, well, okay, let's concentrate on the characters. That's fine. But you concentrate on the characters, and they all just get blown away. That's like watching the whole of Top Gun, and then finding that they all take off, and then they all fall into the sea. And it's like, oh, right. That was... what's the point of that?
What are they doing in Game of Thrones with the White Walkers?
I don't
You get-
know.
you get
I don't
30
know.
seconds.
Having never seen past episode 3 of season 3, Elton,
Okay,
I'm sure...
No, that's fine. I'm not going to give anything away. But the first episode, you get 5 minutes at the very beginning of the pilot episode, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you moaning about that.
Because there's lots of other stuff going on. Interesting
There's lots
stuff.
of they're
Character stuff.
cutting potatoes and eating bread.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want?
Fuck you.
I think you just shot yourself in the foot there, Elton. Game of Thrones or watching someone cut potatoes and eat bread.
Humanity itself has got a great lack of knowledge of the Titans itself. They know very little about them. They know how to take one down, which is like, because they explained in it that, if you attack one directly, then if you don't attack it in the right place, the thing just regenerates and carries on.
Yeah.
Right? So basically you've got to go for the small thing at the back of the neck, hit the nervous system at the back, and then they go down and the regeneration stops.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I got all that. You're
But
not...
As you're going on, you're
no.
learning more about the Titans, and you see that it's not just these things that you've seen walking into the city. There are mutations that happen.
Well,
and that's
there's
what
the
it's built.
There's the floppy Phoebe one.
The mutation is what it's building up to, right? How far the mutation has actually gone, and how very little they know about what's going on outside the walls.
Okay. All I'm going to say, because I think this is going to end up being like a cast in and of itself, is that for me, after 3 hours of watching anything, I'd quite like a story.
There was a story.
What I would not like to do is watch 3 hours of a bunch of characters getting angry at loaves of bread, cutting potatoes, and then eventually dying, and most of them die off screen in 3 minutes. Not even in a situation where you could sit there and go, oh no, not blah, 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 he's down. Oh no, he's down. It's like, I think the Titans have breached the wall. Quick, everyone, to the battle machines or whatever. Those fucking whizzy-bang stringy things. And they all go, right, fine, okay. And then 2 seconds later, someone goes, where's everyone? Oh, they went ahead. I think they're all dead. It's like, oh, right, well, that's that then.
It's all a matter of things like bravado. When you... Oh, hello. What's going on here?
Your bloody device thing. Go on, carry on.
My device thing? What device thing?
Your
I've not got any of my
your
devices
USB
pointed into...
your USB.
Inserted in your sockets.
You have?
That one there.
Yeah.
But it's doing nothing. It's just sitting there.
Well, it just depowered and empowered. Anyway, yes, doesn't matter.
As if by magic.
Lost will to live.
Yes. It threw itself under a bus.
Yeah, it's all about the bravado of of them training and them thinking they can handle it. And then when they get into the situation, they finally meet a Titan. Because a lot of them have never seen the Titan before. They've just heard of these things. And it's the fear that overtakes them, which is why a lot of them die, because they get too cocky.
All of them die?
No, not all of them die. There are survivors. The majority of them die, yeah. But then you get that in war films all the time. It's you get trainees. You follow a bunch of trainees. Most of them quite a few of them get wiped out.
If every single one of them looks the same, this is the Black Hawk Down thing. If every single one of them looks the same, if they all sound the same, if they all act the same, and then they're all supposed to just the only differences are they've been given names or two of them are kissing in a corner. It's like, why do I care? And then when they all go racing off and you think, right, okay, here we go, big fight coming, and then it's like next thing you see, everyone's. It's like, oh. If you watch a war film and everyone goes off to war and it just cuts to everyone died, the end, it's like you'd be like,
but it doesn't just cut to everyone died. You see the battles taking place. You see the battles taking place.
Are you sure you didn't go to sleep and dream these battles?
Yeah. No.
I was going to say.
No. Elton, back me up. Don't we see battles in this?
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much indeed.
How many battles do you see? Oh, because I genuinely, the one where blondie weedy kid almost gets eaten, that's the big battle for that region.
Yeah.
Everyone goes for it. Everyone zooms off, and then as badass anonymous lady goes flying off after all of them, after breaking ranks, she goes off, and that's when you see everyone's dead. And except blonde weedy guy.
They're not going to show you every single battle that takes place.
Show me one which involves all the characters.
But it's not going to happen
split up
every
all over
week.
the city. They're trying to attack a mass invasion. That's it. The thing's flooding through the gates, and they go everywhere.
Okay. Let's put it this way. Let's do another way, and then we really have to stop this. If you watch Star Wars, right, you don't know any of the characters in Star Wars, and there's all these people, all these pilots flying about, but you see them die, you see them fly about, you see them attack things, and it's even if it's like for like 5 seconds, and they go, "Oh, he's on me!" Ah. You don't. They go off. They disappear. And next thing you know, kissy people in corner. One is lying on the floor with his face ripped off, and the other one's going, "Oh, can you wake him up? Oh, no, he's in trouble." It's like, what happened? Everyone's fucking dead.
No, sorry. I totally disagree with you on this. Absolutely fucking 100%. I'm sorry. I'm starting to feel Elton is feeding the rage through the microphone at me now. Good. Take it, Bernard. Take it. I'm pointy force fingers at your direction. Fucking take it.
So be it.
Yes.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that. It doesn't help that the Titans look like someone made morph and put a wig on them.
Oh no.
Hey, look. Nah.
To Photoshop.
To Photoshop. Yeah. Stick a wide mouth. Stick Zippy's mouth on Morph, and then put a Terry Nutkins wig on it, and I think you've got a Titan.
Whatever you do, don't go to the manga, because that is really badly drawn. That is terrible.
There's
A
no
manga that's badly drawn. What sorcery is this? I've never heard of such a thing.
It does look like somebody scribbled it in blue biro. If you look at it, it's like really confusing. It's not shaded properly or anything.
Well, I think this just cements the fact. I gave it a chance. I gave it 9 episodes, and that was it. I was out.
That's fine. Once again, we're all very proud of you.
Yeah. I'm very proud of me too.
We're gonna have to get a golf clap sample from fucking was it Men at Work with Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
Golf clap.
Golf clap.
Anyway, so fuck that film. I think we're running out of time for the news. Surprisingly.
Well, thanks very much for listening, folks.
I'll run the news jingle. We'll fly through the news.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Hey, we're gonna hear some news now.
Okay, the news. We're back. It's back. Right, let's go for it really quickly.
Okay, so do you want me to list the trailers the major trailers we've seen this week?
If you say the Attack on Titan one, I will punch you right in the balls.
Attack on Titan, no. Attack on Dartford. Anyway, no, the ones we've seen this week are Fantastic Four.
What did everyone think of that?
I liked it. I like the shot of Ben Grimm just fucking going, bullets, fuck you, as he walked through the army base.
Yeah,
getting shot. I like that. Yeah.
I missed that one.
You missed it. It's the brand new one. Would you? I mean, do we give him 2 minutes to go and watch it? Or
no, I'm all right.
All right, that's fine.
Do you know what? That's funny enough. That's exactly how I felt by the end of it. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Okay, so I liked it.
Yeah.
My cynicism was switched off this week. So I went in sort of like, you know.
Andy?
I think the design of Ben Grimm was kind of interesting, but it didn't do absolutely anything for me at all. It was just like generic superhero film.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah. Wow. Fade to black. Wow. Fade to black. What about you, Jim?
Pretty much the same as Andy, really. It's kind of it looks better than I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting anything. I was expecting stick dudes on a flick book, you know, from the bollocks I've heard about the production. So
the fact it's in colour is a step up.
I mean, you know, for me, this fantasy will be a win if they produce a film that's just mildly entertaining. But it's one of those.
You don't want much, do you, bloody Jim? Do you?
No, not really. But it's one of those things. It's kind of it's the origin of the Fantastic Four again, and Doctor Doom again. It's kind of every Fantastic Four film from the Corman one on. They've been doing this, and they've still not got it right. It's kind of like, what's his third time lucky? I don't know.
Yeah, fourth.
To be fair though, if a dozen people watch this film, that's a dozen more than watch the last three. So.
Oh God, yes.
Right. Okay.
So the next one, Jurassic Park, or should I say Jurassic World?
Jurassic World. Okay, then we'll go to Elton because Elton had something to say about this. Go on.
I don't fucking like it. It's fucking sheepdog, isn't it?
It's not sheepdog.
It's sheepdog raptors. Bollocks to that. That's stupid.
That's not stupid.
It is stupid. Just because you've got fucking Star-Lord standing next to him. Bollocks to it. No, you've been sold out.
Oh, what? Jurassic...
You've fallen for it.
Jurassic Park sold out.
No. You.
Me?
Because it's Star-Lord right next to the Raptors, and you're like, oh my God, it's Star-Lord.
You're still sore about Attack on Titan. Put that aside, and what do you think of it?
Can I just say, I think where I'm concerned, it's like a picture of Dorian Gray. My cynicism has left me, and I think it's all just gone into Elton.
Yeah, the more...
That's it.
Yeah, did you notice
he's in my attic, and he's getting slowly more cynical every day.
Did you notice one other thing?
What's that?
He didn't go woo when we said the number. First time ever.
That's right.
See, I think he's gone. I think he's
soiled. Just draining out of me.
He's soiled.
Is it?
You look fresher.
Thanks.
If he nods off, that's when we know it. I mean, for me, the sheepdog raptors. To me, I just was like, okay, whatever. It's just a cool shot. And then at the end of the trailer, you see the fact that they're all hiding behind a log, and they say it's communicating with them, which is obviously talking about that Rex thing. Yeah. And then it's next thing you see, those happy raptors are basically ripping all the security squad apart. So I think that's just a gimmick to have it all. Oh, look, they're all our friends. Oh, you can't control nature, rah, kind of affair.
So you're going for the you're going for the massive hybrid brain then. So once you kill the big monster, then all the raptors become sheepdogs again?
No.
They're not exactly sheepdogs in that trailer because he
has to kind of stare them down.
Really, really trying hard for them not to bite his fucking arms off. He's going, stand down, stand down, stand down.
So it's Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's not a raptor. This is a raptor.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, I really hope they don't turn into we killed one dinosaur and all the other dinosaurs fall apart. I don't want that. I don't want a fucking alien queen hive affair Borg thing. But as far as I was concerned, I thought that whole thing was to, oh yeah, it looks really cool. And then the minute you think actually it's working, it'll go horribly wrong in typical Jurassic Park fashion.
Yeah. Which
is just like, oh yeah, we've got control of this. Oh, actually we haven't.
Well, that's kind of what happens, and it's all the fault of this thing.
Yeah, the
hunting things for sport rather
Rex,
than
or whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's hunting things for sport rather than actually just hunting things to eat.
Yeah, So I mean, for me, the Raptors thing kind of went by the by, but so I didn't get that particularly worked up about it either way.
Personally, I liked it. Again, I liked it. This is it. It's like it's a great trailer. Whether the film's any good, I don't know, but I like the trailer.
Okay,
it's like nice.
Well, the thing with Jurassic Park is all you got to deliver is dinosaurs going on the rampage, which should be fairly easy, but unfortunately, it's gone wrong in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of, I'm sort of hopeful that they've got like a cast of interesting humans.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm not booking a ticket yet, but I will undoubtedly probably see it.
Yeah.
Unless I hear it's awful.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to say. I mean, Jurassic Park 2 was terrible, but Jurassic Park 3 was passable. Hold on. You're gonna go over the fucking Jurassic Park 2, but you're gonna condemn Jurassic Park 4 without even seeing it, based on a single shot of a raptor riding beside a bike.
Was Jurassic Park 2 the one with Jeff Goldblum in it?
Yeah,
right.
The boat steering Tyrannosaur.
That had one of my favourite scenes in any Jurassic Park film, which is where they're watching this fucking Tyrannosaurus tear shit up, and then they're watching the giant donut roll by the car. All of them in the car just slowly watch this thing roll by. So it's this fucking meat-eating dinosaur just losing it right there, and they're more interested in is it a tire or a donut?
No, it's a cue ball.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and it's just like that. It's that Indiana Jones Last Crusade moment when they're in the tunnel.
Yeah, and it just kind of closes past.
The best shot in 2 is the dog cage hanging out of the T-Rex's mouth.
Oh yeah, hanging by the lead.
Yeah, that's
yeah. And then what was the other one? There was the thing with Jurassic Park 3 where they see the T-Rex and everyone's standing there and he goes, "Now it reacts to movement. Don't run." And he turns around and everyone's just fucked off.
They buggered off. They scarpered.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to try particularly hard, as Jim said. But for me, a single shot isn't going to ruin it. But I do reserve the right to kind of go, it's Jurassic Park 2 again.
I think the trailer. This was a trailer. I'm going to see it, and I'm excited. But this was a bit of a trailer too far, because the first trailer was so good, and I was like, I really want to see this film. It looks amazing. And now it's just like, okay, I'll see it. I guess maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's everyone said something about that. Go on, then. What's the next trailer?
Okay, the next one is Batman versus Superman. We're in the dark. Yeah. We're in the dark. Dark. It's all dark.
It's all dark.
Do you bleed? Do you bleed? You will.
Yeah. So, let's start with Jim on this one. Jim, what did you think of the Superman versus Batman trailer?
Well, I was very pleased we actually got in 2 flavours.
Yes.
In spasmoid cam from a twat who couldn't figure, just put the phone on the front of the seat in front of you and keep it damn still.
And keep the fucking focus. You come to the most important bit there where we finally get to see the Batsuit in a slightly different angle.
Do we not think that was leaked intentionally?
Yeah, by Zack Snyder.
No, if it was leaked intentionally, it'd be in far better quality.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it was all shaky up until the point where the Warner Brothers thing came up, and then it was all perfectly still.
It's too dark for...
and the sound is all blown out.
The sound is blown out, as you say. The colour quality in it is fucking shite. When you watch the HD version, I mean, you can actually see stuff. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can see what's going on. You can see that before you even... get to it, it's a statue of Superman at the beginning.
Yeah. So, but what did everyone actually think of it, apart from the quality of it?
well, for me, I mean, one of the things, it ticked a couple of boxes for me. I mean, again, it's very kind of, I mean, as I've said before, you have to really go out your way to make a bad trailer.
Yeah.
Or have a really terrible film and not be able to do a half-decent trailer that gets you excited. But for me, it was kind of, one, it's kind of, yes, I know a lot of it was, it's dark and rainy and stormy, but the colours were really popping. And that was one of my niggles from Man of Steel, was just that subdued colour palette. Yeah. And it's like, all right, you listen to that. we're getting some really strong colours in this one. Lots of blues, lots of the red of Superman's cape looks properly red, not washed out.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And the second thing, from the gist of the trailer is kind of everyone who's been whinging about, Superman did this and he did that and he did the other. Well, they're picking up all those points in this one. There's a Superman backlash, clearly.
And also,
Yeah.
Superman doesn't
Which is
just
kinda
punch
like,
stuff,
yeah,
he lifts
right.
it as well.
Thumbs up. Brilliant.
Okay. Elton?
I really, really enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it looked really good.
Okay.
It just had a great flavour to it. It was watching Ben Affleck in the suit. He looks proper beefcake in that as well.
You wouldn't recognise him as Beth Affleck, would you?
Beth
You
Affleck.
really wouldn't.
I'll tell you what, his arms are so big now. He hires someone to hold his cock for him when he goes for a wee because he can't actually reach it. If you see pictures of him now, I'm not joking. It looks like he's got 2 anacondas that have just swallowed a fucking crocodile each, strapped to his shoulders. That's what it looks like. He's built like a brick shithouse. Fucking, he's been bench pressing council estate tower blocks. He really has.
Okay.
I have to admit, it was my favourite trailer to come out.
Ooh. Okay.
Controversial.
Cool. So, what about you, Del?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and something I really, really liked as well, which is something I don't think they've thought about in the past. It's like, okay, you've got Bruce Wayne. He's a millionaire with all this fucking technology for doing stuff, right? Okay. Why would he rely on having a sore throat to disguise his fucking voice? Why not use
Electronic modulation.
Yeah, why not use it? I mean, the fact that it works in Arrow, it's a great idea. It's like, fine, that's great. It deals with it.
Okay.
And you can hear that, and it's just the right tone as well. So I've got no problem with that. It's a good idea. Nice to see him use it. And he's looking the part.
Right. Cool. Excited then.
Oh, and some of the shots they have of I can see there's a religious angle on this.
Just ever so slightly.
I don't think it's in the pro sort of like religious thing here. It's more of a comment on how society would actually see someone like this just from the thing. You see them all reaching out for him, and then that bit where you see him standing there and
everyone bows.
Bowing. But it's like there's a great shot of you see someone reaching up to him and he's just floating in the air. And the cloak's billowing out behind him, and it's just like, that's fucking great. That's just straight out of a comic book.
My prediction?
Yeah.
All those bits will turn up in a montage.
My prediction is you won't be seeing any of those bits in the finished film.
No,
because they are trailer candy. Those bits, there's about 50% of that you won't see in the finished film.
Ben Affleck's not actually in it at all.
In fact, Batman and Superman are not in this at all. It's just 2 blokes talking about it. That's it.
It's us.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just 2 blokes talking about the film. Yeah, that's all right.
that's right. So there we go.
What about you, Andy?
I really like the production design, especially of Ben Affleck in the Batsuit. They've absolutely nailed the Frank Miller aesthetic for that. I quite like the scene with everyone bowing. I noticed also on the proper version, you can see they all have Superman logos on their jackets. So I don't know if that's some sort of cult or private militia or whatever it is. Speaking about the trailer on its own, it kind of pisses me off that 2/3 of it is just slowly flying around the bloody Superman Batman logo.
Yeah.
But that's just a standard teaser trailer fare.
Well, considering they've still got about a year to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this comes back to a much longer gripe about trailers in general. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I like it. But for me, DC have to up their game considerably. For me, just because I have issues with Man of Steel and the Nolan Batman films, I will probably see this, but I won't be first in the gate to see it off of the strength of this trailer.
Yeah. For me, I found this trailer interesting. I kind of rolled my eyes with the religious thing with Superman. I think Alien Jesus from Beyond the Stars has been done to death with Superman as a concept. I think we could probably move on from that, but apparently not. But so it depends. It depends how they play it. But for me, it just looks like it's going to be Superman's going to be seen from a distance for a fair portion of the film, and everyone's going to be sitting there going, "Well, how do we deal with him and you're gonna get fundamentalists on both sides, and then it's going to end up with Batman sort of like on the anti side until finally he kind of goes, no, he's doing it for the right reasons. We have to trust him, and then that'll be it. But at the moment, I'm fully open to it. But at the moment, I was just, as soon as they started doing all that, kneeling before him and floating up in the sky, and then the false god thing on the statue, I was just like, okay, so this is going to be, it's all about fundamentalism and religion. Ray.
At least they weren't having him in a church with a big statue of Jesus behind him while he talks to a priest.
Well, to be quite honest, they're not. They just built a statue purpose built for that particular job, I think.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm kind of interested. I will definitely see it, but I don't know if I'd be like the first person in the queue to see it.
I'll say this, and this isn't so much to do with the trailer, but I completely forgot that you have Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all this other people are going to be in this film as well. And I worry that that's probably too much to squeeze into a film, just because Batman v Superman, as shown in that trailer alone, could quite happily take up 2 hours.
You've got to remember, a lot of these other people in the film is not entirely confirmed. I mean, Jason Momoa was rumoured to be various people.
Phenomena.
Before it was, he's actually Aquaman, not Lobo, and various other people who was exclusively claimed he was going to be. So we'll see.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman versus Kramer could actually not be that case.
Yeah,
but cool. Okay, well we'll see, won't we? And of course we get to the.
That was it, wasn't it? That was all trailers.
That was all the trailers. I don't think there was anything else. Was there? Was there?
Oh wait, no,
there
was that
Terminator?
Battlefront trailer.
Oh god,
no, we've actually
Terminator.
got.
God.
Oh, that makes it 3 more trailers then.
Oh,
okay,
fuck
so
my boots.
we'll talk about Terminator Genesis.
Can I just get my one out of the way and then I can just sit back and sigh?
Go on then.
Basically, it was a collection of the greatest hits of the last 4 Terminator movies.
Yeah.
Because it was every single line was a quote from a different film. And then it spoilt the whole thing by saying, oh, by the way, you didn't know he was a Terminator. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, right, okay, well, thanks very much for that. And then it was just every shot, with the exception of the helicopter shot we've already seen, was just ripping off, and I say ripping off, other shots from the other Terminator films. From the fact that the Terminator has to reveal himself by showing you his mechanical hand, which is now hidden down his arm, to the I've been waiting for you, and we're going to have a recreation of the Terminator scene. The guy gets
that's kind of.
I know, but the point is, it's like
fucking with the timeline.
The TXXXX, walking out of the fire and reforming into himself, and then there's another one where
looking completely not like Robert Patrick.
Yeah, then there's another one where he turns up and his arms turn into spikes so he can claw onto something else, and it's just like.
Well, there's that nice bit where he chops part of himself off and throws it.
Yeah, but
like
it wasn't
a
in this trailer. I'm talking about this trailer. The point is, everything in this trailer was purely, oh, look, that's just like Terminator. Oh, look, that's just like Terminator 2. Actually, that's a line from Terminator 3. That's a line from Terminator 1. That's a line from Terminator 2. Actually, that's a scene from Terminator 3. Oh, that's a scene from Terminator 1. Oh, that's a scene from Terminator 2, recreated, but in a different angle. Oh, that's another Terminator 2 scene. I just thought, watch my box set.
I did actually stop the trailer 3/4 of the way through and just thought, if I watch any of this, it's going to spoil everything in the film.
No, it did. The last 5
the money
minutes...
shot was in there, of course. The right, I see. So you're not even going to save that little secret until we watch the film.
Yeah,
about stuff.
Yeah, It's just bollocks. Every single thing about that, including the shitty way they'd spelled Genesis, just makes me just angry.
It's about a fucking games console, didn't you know?
Yeah, or it's about
the rise of the Sega Genesis.
It's about a sort of alternative reality where a dyslexic Phil Collins takes over the world.
Come back in time to get a copy of DuckTales. Whoa, whoa.
Anyone else want to step in on this now, so I can just sit back and sigh?
I watched it and I can't remember a damn thing about it.
Elton?
I have to agree with you. It was just rip-off after rip-off after rip-off. The bit that I realised I was out, because I was quite looking forward to this. Apart from the money shot that Darren mentioned, there's a scene where Arnie, as the Terminator, turns around and smiles. And you think, oh, fuck off.
This is Terminator 2 all over again.
Yeah. Terminator was a sci-fi horror thing. It really scared the bejesus out of you. This is just kid fodder.
And then they made it about daddy issues.
So, no, I'm out.
Andy?
I will refer to the Honourable Gentleman's previous statements.
Fair enough. And Darren, your that was it, really?
Yeah, it was going so well up until the money shot. And then I thought, do you know what? I was going to let it get away. And then my cynicism returned for this. This is before I watched all the other trailers, so the cynicism was still there. Before it left my body completely. So, you know what? I'll probably still go and see it because I've got a Cineworld card, so I don't fucking care. I've paid for this shit already, you know? So I'll go and watch it. Yeah. Not a problem. And then I'll probably just sit and swear and think. Look, I bet you, right, I can lay money on this now, right? Okay. I bet you Laura doesn't come and see this one. Right? If she doesn't come and see this one, and I see it on a Sunday, you can bet it's going to be shit. Yes. Because that's what happened. I saw World War Z on a Sunday by myself, and it was shit.
Right.
Okay, she didn't come along for that.
No.
It was like she saw some vision or something, and then it was like, no, I don't want to think I want to get on that bus because that's going to crash.
It's like
She said something, as if 1,000 fanboys cried out in terror and were suddenly
silenced.
She heard me. She heard me from where she was sitting in our living room, all the way from Greenwich.
I felt a tremor.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, what was that? Someone died outside.
That was me trying to just bite the concrete outside or do anything just to get it out of my system.
You curb stomped yourself.
I really tried. I really tried.
Oh, there goes my chair.
There.
That's my chair broken. Right. Right. Okay. Well, now while I fix my chair, there's two other trailers that are kind of related to each other, and then we can move on.
We were doing them in labels of importance because if I had known we were going to do Terminator, I would have mentioned that first. But so we've got the second to last really important trailer, which is the Star Wars trailer.
Which Star Wars trailer?
The last Star Wars trailer that was at not Rogue One. No. I'm talking about Episode 7.
Okay. I gotta say,
you got to fall fat on chubby for that one, didn't you?
I tell you what, I saw it. I put my cynicism to one side, and I thought, you know what? You don't get this moment often where you can just sit there and just enjoy it, and just not think about it. Don't look on the internet. Don't look at the comments. Don't do anything. Just watch it and go, yes. And I did that, and I went, yes. And I did that for about a day. And then after that...
Must have been sore after all that.
Yeah, I was going to say, then I applied the cream. But no, and then I went on to not Facebook, but I made a mistake of going on to IO9. And I scrolled down a bit too far, saw the first comment, and I just went, no. Oh, no. And so, for me... That's it. I'm not watching any more Star Wars trailers, and I'm certainly not watching any more articles about it. But I have to say, I was equally pleased for the Chewie, we're home, and cringing for the Chewie, we're home, because Chewie looks like a dog that's just come out of a hair salon.
It does look... I like the meme that was on the internet of how Chewie looks in this video and how he should look. And then they put a picture of Harry from Harry and the Hendersons standing next to an aged Harrison Ford. And it's like, yeah. It's that stupid look on his face as well. It's like, yeah, that's the one.
Oh, dear. Right, go on. Who wants to go first on the Star Wars trailer then?
I'll go.
Go on, Go on, you go first. I'll let you go first.
I think it's a much better trailer than the first one that came out. I did actually realise by the end of it I was smiling. And it was all because of that one tiny little bit at the end with Han Solo, and it's just the way he comes out and says, "Chewie, we're home," and it's like that's really nice. I really like that. But I've now got a rule that I've made. I see one official trailer for each film. Don't see any more. So that's me done until the film comes out. It's like the Batman and Superman one. I'm not watching any more Batman or Superman trailers. This is it. So
that's a teaser trailer. It's not an official.
Okay, well, I'll watch the official one, and then that's it. I won't watch any more. But I'm finding it works a lot better for me with film now.
Yeah.
So,
especially based on what I've heard about the amount of Avengers trailers now, you can actually stitch the film together.
Well, apparently the film, from what I've heard, has actually got 7 minutes of footage that you've not seen in the trailers yet. So, there's hope.
There's hope.
So yeah, I actually really liked it. I thought it did the job. It gave me enough Star Wars stuff to make me go, ooh, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this now. Good stuff.
Excellent, cool. And Jim?
I was sick of it before I even saw it. I left it late, I know, time is of the essence. I've only got like another 8 months before the film comes out. And I know I'm a fool to myself. I didn't rush in there. I won't have had time to give pet names to every fucking pixel in the cunt. But you know what? I think I'll probably be able to go and enjoy the film. Whereas everyone else who's been wanking on about it will be throwing up bile, and probably by December will not only know the name of the man who designed Flabba-dabba-dub Chop Chop Chop's boots, but they'll have hounded him off the internet because they got the lacings wrong, as depicted in Star Wars Goes to Sainsbury's, a series of ads ran in 1985.
And we'll see you all next week. For
You know what, Jim? I feel as though you're in need of a life day.
I definitely don't need life day.
Yeah, we should do holiday special again.
Why would you do this when you know I will kill you for it? Why?
I plan on being dead.
Your wife should
No, but actually, the trailer was quite nice. But to be honest, though, it's kind of... I'd like to have a bit more of kind of an indication of what the plot is. But at the same time, it's kind of... It's Star Wars. You don't need to start a long campaign to get people on board. People will lose their shit automatically. And it's kind of... I'm just dreading kind of 8 months of dedicated spoiler dodging and not being wound up.
Yeah.
As fan reaction goes from the current rapture to hating it. And by December, we'll only have the stick to beat it with. Going, it was missing Lucas's touch.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I can see it happening. I've seen it happen before when people start getting too overexcited, too early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my,
Do you know what?
And that's my sort of my problem
That's
sort
one
of
of its
with it,
plus
really.
points.
It's not the trailer itself. The trailer itself is fine, but it's just the kind of the rapture that it was greeted with. That's almost a bad sign in my book, because that's the mob getting together and slapping each other in the back before they start getting the pitchforks out. At the time, because they'll be sick of it by December.
You know the other thing is obviously
spoiling for a fight by then.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? It's going to be overanalyzed to death. No, I'm not going to get into it. I'm maintaining my happy obliviousness to the whole thing.
It's one of those things when you start seeing all this bitching and whining on moan, it just actually takes the shine off the film for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what annoys me about it. And it's kind of, my only official comment on it was, remember when your mum told you about eating chocolate bars before your dinner?
Yeah.
And that's kind of...
Yeah.
That's sort of my stance on the Star Wars trailers. Is kind of
cool.
If because this is the second teaser trailer, and it was really a proper trailer. It's kind of god.
Here we go.
Yeah, we've got 8 months of this. Stop it.
Well, it lasted long.
I want to go in December and have a good time and have a film that it might be entertaining. I'm a modest man with simple tastes, and
Cryogenics?
Cryogenics.
Yeah, it's tempting.
I mean, it did better than Batman vs Superman insofar as by the moment it was announced, it was completely condemned. Whereas Star Wars has got at least a couple of days out of the gate, so it's got a lot more goodwill going for it by the fact that people haven't piled on it in less than 12 hours.
Hey,
just wait till the next trailer comes out. There's a lens flare in it, and the floodgates will open.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's good enough for Matthew McConaughey. If it brings him to an emotional point, then it's.
I still go with the Malcolm Tucker That's the definitive Star Wars reaction.
He's gay robot. He's a gay robot. The gold guy.
What about the hairdresser?
You know, he's got a mate who's a paladin and shagged his sister. His dad's a fucking robot.
And he's got a pedal bin for a friend. And you're on the planet of the teddy bears, Ewoks. That's right, the Ewoks. And you're gonna blow up the big thing, Death Star. Yeah, that's it. You got the Ewoks, so you're gonna fucking blow up the Death Star. Beautiful, inspirational words. Elton, what did you think of it?
Oh, how do I follow that? I was surprisingly not impressed.
Right.
I think it was. I had so much excitement from the first teaser trailer. I think I was expecting to have that again, and it just was. Oh, okay, not great. There was obvious shots there, and there was some really hokey shots as well, I thought.
Okay.
The Han Solo stuff at the very end, I just groaned at it because it's just thrown in there because everyone else was bitching and moaning because they weren't in the first trailer. And you thought, no, this is new Star Wars, so let's not go to that. And I just felt it's just there to please people. There's so many little bits I can moan about. The TIE fighter floating around in the cargo bay didn't look good at all. I didn't think. Really didn't look good.
Okay.
And I know this is like a fanboy internet moany thing, but when I saw the Star Destroyer crashed, I sat there going, "That's not big enough."
He's fucking miles away.
Excuse me.
I know it's miles away, and the speed of going across is miles to. It just didn't look. First impressions, it didn't look big enough. I've watched it a couple of times, and okay, I can get that. But first impression.
These towers are small. Those are far away.
Yes, it's called distance.
Fine.
Okay, look, I think we've got off on the wrong foot with the Attack on Titan thing. Let's just go back, rethink our lives, and we can all be happier for it.
We've still got one of your favourite movies to come.
Yeah, we do. I mean, Andy, did you give? Is he?
No, I haven't done Andy yet.
Okay, I was going
Andy?
to say because we got one more trailer to discuss.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it, but the things I enjoyed were all the old things. So seeing an old Star Destroyer, seeing the old X-Wing, hearing the old music. I think the lines that I actually think the audio of Luke speaking is the audio from Return of a Jedi.
Yes,
I don't think that's new audio.
No.
So I like that. And as far as the Han and Chewie shot goes, when was the last time you saw Harrison Ford happy to be in a film?
I think it was 1989, 1990.
It was Last Crusade.
Last Crusade.
So I mean, Elton's right. It was pure fan service. And so what? It was pretty much what they were going to do. It was to get the old gits like us saying, "Yes, see, they're in it. It's not just new people. You happy?"
Yeah.
And then the next one will be all new stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, as a guy who likes making models and props and stuff like that, that was what excited me the most, was seeing the old designs and everything still in there and just hearing the old music and bits and pieces. I'm not overly fussed about the new look of the Stormtroopers or the new TIE fighters and all that sort of stuff, but it engaged me enough to say, yeah, I'll watch the next trailer and probably see it at some point.
Cool. Right. Okie dokie. Right. Well, I guess... I mean, we've been going for about an hour and 20. Should we skip the shitty superhero this week and just move on?
Let's just move
to
on.
Jim's Profanosaurus?
Yeah, let's just do Jim's Profanosaurus.
Yes, I think so. Okay, then, Jim, I'm going to roll the jingle, and it's over to you.
Lovely. Retirement. Euphemism. To put a replicant out of service. Or, alternatively, to otherwise violently get rid of some waste. I.e., is last night's curry giving your tummy, Jip? Yes, I think I just retired it by mistake.
Thank you, Jim.
Classy as ever.
It's as classy as we've come to expect from a learned tome such as such as yours.
I look forward to the hardback edition of a Panosaurus being available in Waterstones.
It'll be available in a brown paper bag, I think. Right. Well, thank you very much for that, Jim. And yes, we shall move on now to this week's movie, which is definitely a rose-tinted specs, which is, of course, Blade Runner.
Oh, crackling rosy-tinted specs. We're gonna take us an old film and then review. That's what we'll do. We do it for you. I can turn invisible if I try real hard.
Right, okay, well, that cut off pretty quick. Right, Blade Runner. Okay, 1982 movie, directed by Ridley Scott. Screenplay by Hampton Fancher and David Peoples. Based on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Starring Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, Sean Young, Edward James Olmos, Brian, what's his name? Kant.
I'm sure it wasn't Blessed.
No. Music by Vangelis.
Are you a replicant?
Music by Vangelis. It was released June 25th, 1982. Best year ever for science fiction movies. And it had a budget of 28 million. Anyone want to take a guess what it made in the box office?
60 million.
Okay. Jim?
8 million.
Okay. Andy?
Why make millions when we could have made billions?
Okay. Elton? Elton? Elton?
Come back to the light.
Hello.
Step into the light.
Hello, Elton.
There we go. 30.
30 million. Well,
Yeah.
you're very, very, very close because it's 33 million.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Did you cut out while you were looking on Wikipedia trying to find the answer? Okay. Right. So let's go into production. This is very, very long. The history of this is really best covered by the book by Paul Salmon called Future Noir: The Making of Blade Runner. Very good book, well recommended. And listen to the countless documentaries on the Blu-rays. But to cut a long story short, the production. Right, here we go. The casting proved troublesome for this movie, particularly the lead role of Deckard. Screenwriter Hampton Fancher envisioned Robert Mitchum as Deckard and wrote the character with dialogue with Mitchum in mind. Director Ridley Scott and his film and the film's producers went for months meeting and discussing with the role with Dustin Hoffman, who eventually departed over differences in vision. In other words, he wanted it his way, everyone else wanted it a totally different way. He was gonna wear a hat. I think that was his big thing. He was going to wear a hat.
Wear a hat?
Yeah. Harrison Ford was ultimately chosen for several reasons, including his performance in Star Wars films. But Ford's interest in Blade Runner was in the story. And after discussions with Steven Spielberg, who was finishing Raiders of the Lost Ark at the time, and has strongly praised Ford's work in the film. I would say also that in that Paul Salmon book, there is actually a whole thing of Ridley Scott seeing the rushes of Raiders of the Lost Ark and saying that's it, based on the opening scene when he's just wearing the hat, the silhouette, and then he turns around, pulls the gun. Anyway, so according to production documents, several other actors were also considered for the role of Deckard, which was here we go. Just imagine this film with these people in it: Gene Hackman, Sean Connery, Jack Nicholson, Paul Newman, Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can you imagine any one of those in that
Get
role.
to the spinner.
The one role that was not difficult to cast was Rutger Hauer as Roy Batty, the violent yet thoughtful leader of the replicants. Scott cast Hauer without having met him, based solely on his performance in Paul Verhoeven's movies, and Scott had seen Soldier of Orange, Turkish Delight, and Katie Tipple. Hauer's portrayal as Batty was regarded by Philip K. Dick as the perfect Batty, cold, Aryan, and flawless. One of the many films Hauer has done, Blade Runner was his favourite, and he explained in the live chat in 2001 that Blade Runner needs no explanation. It just is. All of the best, there is nothing like it. To be a part of a real masterpiece and change the world's thinking, it was awesome. Blade Runner used a number of then lesser-known actors, including Sean Young, portrayal as Rachel. Nina Axelrod auditioned for that role. Daryl Hannah played Pris as a basic pleasure model. Stacey Nelkin, whoever she is, auditioned for that role, but was given another part in the film, and it was ultimately cut. There was loads of other... Oh, God, let's go. No, I'm just skipping all the stuff. Right. Interest in adapting Philip K. Dick's novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was developed shortly after 1968 production. Director Martin Scorsese was interested in filming the novel, but never optioned it. Producer Herb Jaffe optioned it in the early 1970s, but Dick was unimpressed with the screenplay written by Herb's son, Robert. Jaffe's screenplay was so terribly done, Robert flew down to Santa Ana to speak to me about the project, and the first thing I said to him was, when he got off the plane, was, "Shall I beat you up here at the airport, or shall I wait until you get back to my apartment?" said Dick.
I was going to say that. I thought you were going to say he flew down especially to punch him in the face.
The screenplay by Hampton Fancher was optioned in 1977, and producer Michael Dealey became interested in Fancher's draft and convinced director Ridley Scott to film it. Scott had previously declined the project, but after leaving the slow production of Dune, wanted a which we covered last week. That's slow, all right. Segway. There you go. It's almost like we planned it.
No tangents.
He wanted a faster-paced project to take his mind off his older brother's recent death. He joined the project in 1980, managing to push up the promised Filmways financing. And Fancher's script focused more on environmental issues and less on the issues of humanity and faith. Fancher also found a cinema treatment by William S. Burroughs for Alan E. Nourse's novel The Blade Runner, and entitled Blade Runner a Movie, and Scott liked the name so much, so Dealey obtained the rights to the titles and eventually hired David Peoples to rewrite the script. Fancher left the job over the issue in December 21st, 1980, although later returned to contribute with additional rewrites. Oh God, it goes on and on and on. This is a this is a monstrous wiki. The special effects were done by Douglas Trumbull, who had just been working along with Sid Mead, on Close Encounters of the Third Kind and 2001. Blade Runner had numerous deep similarities to Fritz Lang's Metropolis. God, here we go. Jesus Christ. Wow. Sorry, I'm sorry if I'm just flumping here, because I'm just scrolling and thinking we're never going to get through this wiki.
It's Wrath of Khan all over again.
It is. A lot of the details. I'm just going to cut out this. Yep. Andy, step in if you get any details you want to throw in, because I'm not reading the wiki anymore.
It's too much to cover.
Yeah, so much to cover. Basically, the city, one of the most interesting things was the city itself. When you see the big wide cityscapes, they are all etched onto a single piece of brass. They're just cutouts with light shone through.
Shot.
Yes.
The foregrounds are models,
yeah,
and the pyramids are models, but everything in between
is just
was
brass.
photo etched on brass. Yeah,
just photo etched on brass. A lot of my favourite story from the Paul Salmon book is when they were building the sets. A lot of people were getting really arsey, and the reason they were getting arsey was things like this, where basically these guys had spent like 2 days straight putting shit on top of shit on top of shit on top of shit to make these buildings look all super detailed and worn and what have you.
Yeah.
Apparently, Scott pulled up in a Bentley, got out, lit his cigarette, lit his cigar, looked at all of it, and went, looks good. It's a good start. Got in his car and fucked off. And and that was the kind of start of what would later become the was it Watch Your Governor or All Right Governor?
Yeah, Watch Your Governor. Yeah, and also the it was Was it his? The I've survived working with Ridley Scott.
Yeah, and yes, Governor. That was it.
Yeah.
And the Yes, Governor thing was basically where Scott appeared in a magazine interview where he said that working with American crews was a pain in the arse, and they wouldn't get things right, and they'd question everything. Where he really wanted everyone just to take his advice, take his information, and just go, "Yes, Governor," and get on with it.
The T-shirt said, "Yes, Governor, my arse."
Yes, and they were being printed and distributed throughout the whole thing. The production was actually completely miserable, being 99% rain all the time. Everyone was wet and miserable and soggy, and especially Harrison Ford, who said in a later review that he was a detective who did no detecting. He was not very happy with the film, and I think it came to a point where he and Scott wouldn't even talk to each other on the set. And there was lots of issues with that. I think they even came to blows on the set. Is that right, Andy? Did I hear that?
I don't think it actually came to blows landing, but it was as close as possible without physical violence. It's from what I hear, it was one of the most unpleasant sets in the history of Hollywood in terms of working on it.
Yes. And yeah, the other thing was, of course, the soliloquy given by Rutger Hauer at the end was supposedly spontaneous. They didn't read. Apparently, they had a whole big long dialogue he had to read out. Lots of stuff he had to read out, and he couldn't remember half of it. And some of it was all a bit flowery. And so what he did was, I think he adapt something from Tennyson.
Yeah. There was something written which was effectively what is said, but it was a lot more wordy and trying to be clever. And he shrunk it all down. Made it much more eloquent. And the Tears and Rain analogy at the end, he added that.
Yeah.
So that was all him.
Cool.
No one knew that was coming except him and Scott. He ran it by Scott before he did it, but no one else knew that was coming. He did it in one take.
Yes. Except the funniest bit with that, which then got corrected in the final cut, which we are reviewing tonight, which was basically he was holding a dove, and there was so much rain that the dove refused to fly. So he does this big long thing, and he goes, "Like tears in the rain, time to die." And he opens his hand, and the dove would normally just fly away, but it was so wet, it apparently just sat there, looked dumb, and just casually hopped off him and just waddled out of shot.
Shat on his palm and then walked off.
So the dove went, "Yes, Governor," and walked off.
Exactly, "Yes, Governor," and fucked off. So that's why you see that cutaway to the dove flying away and not actually seeing the dove fly off in that shot because it refused to fly in the rain.
You're going to say that originally he threw it up in the air and you just see this white lump land somewhere behind him.
Yeah, dump.
In the original cut, when you do that cutaway, though, it's raining down, but the sky's blue, isn't it?
That's right. Yes, that's right. It's completely blue. And also in the original cut, which we're not reviewing, but they also cut to the happy ending, which was actually an outtake from The Shining. But there you go. Right. I won't go into it much longer because, like I say, we're already on an hour and 30, and I've not even scratched the wiki. I'm just coming off the stuff on top of my head. So the only other thing I would say is that this film was complete and utter flop on release. It had the bad misfortune of being a double whammy with The Thing, and both of them coming literally straight after Wrath of Khan and E.T. So basically, everyone was optimistic, big, light, fluffy space adventures, and lovely, shiny aliens. And then suddenly, The Thing came out, and everyone went "ah!" And then Blade Runner came out, and everyone went "oh God!" And so basically, both The Thing and Blade Runner flopped, and it wouldn't be until they reappeared on VHS that they would be rediscovered and gain their cult success that they both so richly deserved. Yes, so I'll leave it there because I think otherwise we will just be here for about another 3/4 of an hour just reading out wiki and recounting bits. So let's move on. So Andy, you're the guest, obviously, so you get to go first. What did you think about the 7 million times you've seen Blade Runner: The Final Cut in the last week?
In the last week, I loved it every single time. I loved it more each time I saw it as opposed to the other one. I think I've seen it... So this month, I've seen it 3 times at the cinema. Just because it's not always at the cinema, and I don't often get a chance to go and see it.
No.
But yes, I think you can firmly put me down as I'm something of a fan of this film. When people say to you, what are your top 5 films? You've always got about 20 films to fit into that space. You say to me, what's my favourite film? There's only one film, and that's Blade Runner. Every single time. I love this fucking film. Every single shot in this film is a work of art. And I will pause it on any single frame and I go, that is fucking awesome. This is what really galls me about Ridley Scott today, in that you used to do shit like this, Ridley. You used to do shit like this. What happened, man? You used to be cool.
Yeah, you used to be something. You used to be a contender.
Yeah.
You had one job, Ridley. One job.
Yeah. I absolutely love this film. I love the music, the Vangelis stuff. I love the world of Los Angeles 2019. Because it's all practical effects and it's all models and flick switchers. There's a real sense of presence to the place. Where, even though there were some things which are dated, like the video payphones and bits and pieces like that, it still feels like it's a legitimate future, if you will. It's like you could see that being a place.
Yeah.
Not in 4 years' time, obviously, but
no.
Push it down a bit. I think the performances are all fantastic, especially from the replicants, and I like the subtlety of like Tyrell. He's got this little hand gesture, which is kind of like calming and condescending at the same time, especially when he goes like, "Indulge me."
Yes. And the fact that when when Batty appears and he goes, "Oh, it's not," and he says, "Not something. It's not easy to meet your maker." And he goes,
"What can he do for you?"
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't just sort of modestly wave it away and go, "No, I'm not really a maker. It's me and millions others." He just goes, "Yes, I'm God. Hello," essentially. But go on, carry on. Sorry.
No, it's. I could sit and gush about this film for hours and hours, and I probably would if you gave me half a chance. It's just. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the 2 things in this film which irk me slightly, which will kind of balance it out. And there are 2 things really. Firstly, is Rachel's shoulders. I don't know what it was with big shoulder pads and stuff like that, but obviously they were the in thing for Sean Young's wardrobe. And the second thing, as I actually turned to Darren and mentioned this when we saw it at the PCC, is that scene with Rachel and Deckard in his apartment is awfully rapey.
Yes.
I mean, that's James Bond level rapey. I mean, that's just a little bit... little bit uncomfortable viewing there.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a bit where you go, ooh, that's awkward.
And just pulling out my Blade Runner geeky knowledge thing again, just that scene took so many times to film that what happened was Harrison Ford actually, just before they did the last take, which is the one that ended up in the film, she'd been sort of like fluffing her lines or not giving enough emotion or whatever. And so what happened was Harrison just said something along the lines of to Scott. He said, "Just trust me on this." And apparently he said, "Just say action, and then I'll get the action out of her." And he went over and he planted apparently a massive slap across her face. Apparently he nearly knocked her to the floor.
Really?
Yeah. He was so frustrated with the whole thing.
This explains so much about her career after that.
Yeah. That
This explains an awful lot about certain other things as well.
Yeah.
But
it also explains a lot why they wanted the Sean Connery as well. The bitch should just give him a slap.
Yes. Remember, 17 no's and a yes. Just yes. But I mean, Blade Runner as a whole, Edward James Olmos, which we haven't spoken about, I do love.
Yeah.
As an aside, I mean, can we talk about our theories on the isn't he a replicant, or is that something to say for later?
Yeah, I think we'll do that once we get round everyone, because I think that's a section in itself. But
I will keep stum about that then. But yes, the entire cast is fantastic, and the last thing I'll mention is the lighting. Is just how I know I mentioned how every shot's beautiful, but there's especially in Tyrell's office, you see there's that kind of like watery lighting effect going on there.
Yep.
There's a great bit in the documentary where he goes to the cinematographer and goes, I need some sort of like wavy light over there. The guy goes, well, where's the light coming from? There's no pool. He goes, I don't give a fuck. I want a wavy light on that wall. Yeah. Make it wavy. And that was it. And that's what I love.
Which goes back to our yes governor thing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're questioning it. Just fucking do it. Yeah.
So in summary, yeah, it's all right.
Nice. Cool. Okay. Darren, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I don't mind.
I don't mind. I'll just because you. Yeah.
I shall dive on in there.
Okay.
Okay. I have to say that where the final cut is concerned, it's got for me the best ending for a version of Blade Runner. There, I do love the whole thing when they're just going out of the flat. They found the little unicorn boy. Gaff that's been left there, and then they back out and they go into the lift, and the lift door shuts, and then it goes black credits.
Yep,
that's it. That's how it should be. Let's not have them going on watch them going on their trip to Butlins,
driving off to go and stay at the Overlook.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm going to a happy. They're going off to Heston Services.
Scatman Carruthers
unicorns and no play make Harrison something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Scatman Carruthers in the snowplow right behind them.
That's right. Yes. So
I'm the Scatman. Damn it, stuck again.
I must admit the ending of this is the best one. So that's the best version of the ending, I think. I didn't mind the actual lack of narration, but then again, I also really like the narration as well. So I've got no problem with just about any version of this film. I think they've all got a really, they all tell a slightly different story. I think, it gives you just a feel of it. You know. I don't think that the narration in the other ones is patronising as some people might think it is.
Okay.
It just adds. Let's see. Special effects, I think still stand up. The practical effects are very, very good, especially for the spinners and stuff like this. And although driving a spinner, you must get very, very dizzy driving one of those, because all they seem to do, they literally are spinners, because they just spin round and round and round and round and round. Yeah. So it's like, the rudder's gone at the back there, or one engine's been clogged and we're just going round in circles. Yeah. But it looks cool, man. Look at this. Hey. Yeah, fuck you. I'm in a spinner. What are you in? Yeah, you're in a fucking Corsa. Look at you. Fuck you. So there we go. Even going round and round, I'm cooler than you are.
Did you know they used the spinner in Back to the Future 2?
Did they?
Yep.
Oh, very cool.
I'll have to look out for that.
I think it's also in the Coruscant scenes in Attack of the Clones.
I think they digitally put it in there, but the actual prop from Blade Runner is parked in Blade Runner 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, right.
Something to watch out for next time.
There you go. Useless fact of the day.
Indeed.
Plenty of them.
Yeah, it's for a book that for a film that relies very little on its source material. I think it's great. It's one of those prime examples of you don't have to follow the original source material to be a good film.
No,
so because otherwise you would have had the whole religious television thing going on in it, like it is in the book. A lot of that's about climbing up a virtual hill or a virtual mountain.
Oh God!
Yeah, in that, they basically grab hold of two metal things on the side of this television type thing, and they're in this thing, and it's all about, as Andy said, it's all about faith and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good choice not to go with that and to do a straightforward sort of like seek and destroy movie, which is what this is.
Yes.
Again, Rutger Hauer, what an iconic role he played. Just fantastic. And it's nice to see that they did actually predict the future in that film. Where I think it's something to do with predicting the coming of Simon Cowell, because if you look at one bit, Roy Batty has literally got the belt of his trousers covering his nipples. They're up. It's up that high. Okay, very little waistline being shown there. I think it's when they're playing chess in the apartment or something like that.
It's when he's J.F. Sebastian's apartment.
We are not toys, Sebastian. We are physical.
Yeah, that's the one.
We're so happy you found us.
Yeah. So Dr. Wu. So yes, very good. Just an enjoyable film all round. And just as an aside, going back to that very uncomfortable scene between him and Rachel, there is a little bit of a pattern forming here where Harrison Ford is concerned.
Go on.
Indiana Jones, rapey scene. Blade Runner, rapey scene. And to some extent, Empire Strikes Back, rapey scene when Han Solo has actually got Princess Leia cornered in the engineering.
And Temple of Doom.
And Temple of Doom. Exactly. It's just like, fuck is going on here?
And
Is Harrison the new Sean Connery?
well,
it could be. No, I'm Sean. No, he's Harrison.
And then his dad turns up in the next Indiana Jones film.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. It's one.
Illuminati will be after you, mate. Watch it.
It is.
No, I'm running that.
It is amazing how that kind of features in his biggest movies, that sort of thing. I don't know whether he's put that in there or whether it's a directorial thing or what, but it just seems...
I
It's
mean,
because at the time writers thought that was romance.
yeah, and as much as anything, all that kind of stuff, not that I'm endorsing it at all, but it tends to be a bit of a throwback to the sort of 40s, hard-boiled kind of film noir, sort of men are men and women are leggy, beautiful kitchen dwellers, dames kind of thing. Yeah. I'm not condoning it. I'm just trying to say where it's probably coming from.
I'm just thinking about it the other day. It's like, he does it in this.
Dirty bastard.
He's done it in this. It's a bit kind of like...
Yeah.
Now, and you saying that, he slaps
Before
Sean Young across the face, it's like...
That's why she looks quite so frightened and trembly.
Yeah,
it's because he's just laid one on her.
Exactly. It's all part of one very disturbing puzzle, as it's coming together there. But no, the film itself, apart from that one bit there, great.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Cool. Okay, so let's go to Elton, because I think Jim will go... It will be a lot more erudite than us.
Oh, definitely, yes.
I'm hoping so. Go on, Elton. Not saying you won't be erudite, mate. Sorry.
That's fine. This is the second time I've seen this, and I've only seen the director's cut. I did see maybe 10 minutes of it when I was, maybe early 90s, late 80s, when it was on TV. And it had the narration over it. I distinctly remember hearing the narration.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
You probably did. I
Yeah,
think it was the original.
the director's cut wasn't released until the sort of, was it the
91?
90s? Yeah.
Early 90s, yeah.
Right.
Didn't get a TV showing for a while. It was about mid-90s, I think, if I remember rightly.
And am I right in thinking there was narration where the car was parked, and where the little dude's Nick parked off of his car?
Yeah, there was that.
There's narration all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When
It's much more like a
boom,
1940s thing.
Yeah. hired gun. Killer. Blade Runner. Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, this is... I've only seen this twice now. The first time, I was taken aback. I really, really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I was not so impressed with it. Okay. Now, Andy is right in saying that you can pause this at any moment, and it is a perfect picture. It looks gorgeous. And I've got the Blu-ray version, so I stood as close to the TV as I could, just pausing it every now and again and going, oh my God, that looks wicked. Yeah. Apart from that, I was not impressed with it at all.
Really? So what was it about it that wasn't impressive? I mean, I'm not trying to... Whoa, my chair's just gone again.
I don't know.
Sorry, I was trying to force choke him. I might have got you by mistake there.
Yeah, I think he's getting... This is his Attack on Titan force powers. I
promise you, this is nothing to do with Attack on Titan.
No. I'm not talking about the Blade Runner thing. I'm talking about my chair. That's the second time it's gone wonky. But go on, carry on.
Well, I don't know I can't really put my finger on it because it looked so beautiful. And yet I felt I felt as if I knew where the narration was missing. There were big chunks where if it was on subtitles, it would be saying in brackets, there was narration here.
Yeah.
It just felt, I don't know. I don't know. If these replicants live for 4 years, then why not just leave them for 4 years?
Because the amount of damage they do in 4 years. Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. As Deckard says, machines are either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem. It's the same thing. If a digger was going around smashing through walls, would you leave it for 4 years knowing that the petrol would run out eventually?
Oh, no, I understand that, yeah. I don't know. I just was not impressed with it at all.
Okay.
It looks great. It flows really well. I was just a little bored.
That's fair enough. I've got nothing to take against you on that, because I will be honest with you. The first time I watched it, I didn't understand a fucking word of it or anything. I knew I was watching something nice and pretty and lovely and really impressive. But when I watched it in 1982, when I was 11, I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is all this? Well, I wasn't swearing, but, what the flip is this? And it took a couple of viewings before I finally sort of settled into it. But even then, I wasn't really digging it.
Do you know what? I actually liked this the first time I saw it, and I liked it so much, I actually had the annual as a kid.
The Blade Runner annual.
The Blade Runner annual, which was surprisingly graphic.
For all your existential replicant needs.
Damn fucking right. It really was. I even remember the front cover was the picture of Rick Deckard hanging off of the iron girder just before Roy Batty picks him up and lifts him onto the side again.
I mean, not to get into my feedback before we get into Jim's, but essentially, I understand that kind of nonplussed kind of vibe, because I did go through that myself. Because the reason I actually watched Blade Runner was when it came out on VHS was because it was by the guy who did Alien, and I think I was kind of half expecting that, and I kind of got something that just looked pretty, and I was sitting there going, I don't understand what's going on. And then the second time I watched it, after everyone went mad about it, I'm sitting there going, yeah, it's okay. It took me a couple of times to go.
Yeah, see, that reminds me of when that first time I caught 10 minutes of it. My dad, there was 2 films on at once, and in them days you could only record 1 movie. And he said, okay, right, we got this great monster movie on this side that you'll really, really enjoy, or you got this movie with Han Solo in it. Han Solo, please.
Yeah.
And watched it as, whoa, this is dull. What the hell? And I must have been, like maybe not even 10, I suppose. Maybe just 10. And didn't even bother going to it.
Yeah.
And yet, I think the same thing with 2001. If you're told you're supposed to really like this, you're supposed to really dig this and get this and look at that and appreciate this and appreciate that and look at all these little nods from all the movies that I've taken from this. And when you get there to the original source, it's kind of a trickle.
Yeah. You've gone the wrong direction.
You found the source of the Nile. It's just a little puddle.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, which is great, except for the fact that you've seen like 20 million gallons of water all the way up.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fine. I mean, like I say, I'm not judging. I mean, I do like it now. I mean, that's different kettle of fish, but like I understand that kind of weird nonplussed vibe about the whole thing, because I did have that myself once.
Yeah.
So no problems there.
I am not looking forward to, but talking about the replicant thing as well, and also the alien world as well.
Yes.
But we'll get into that later.
We'll get to that as well. So before we do, let's hear about Jim. Jim, what did you think of it now?
Well, I'll give you the history. I mean, I saw Blade Runner back in the day when it came out, and I must admit I was kind of like, looked great, but and I just sort of chalked it up as kind of, well, not every film Harrison Ford's going to be in isn't great. I mean, I'll say I was a bit more sophisticated. I didn't go into this, I think, as many people did back in the day, expecting Vader's the Lost Android. But at the same time, it didn't connect with me. And then, but I later met a guy who's now one of my bestest mates. He was obsessed with Blade Runner, and he said, read the original book and then we'll watch it again. And then once you sort of kind of, I'd read the novel. Oh, right, I see where this is, what kind of thing this is, what the film's trying to do. But then the director's cut came out, and it was suddenly, yes. Because the director's cut is a different movie to the theatrical. Yep. I mean, personally, I felt kind of removing the dialogue made it more intelligible. Maybe not the dialogue, but the voiceover.
The narration, yeah.
Because I know famously Harrison Ford didn't want to do the voiceover, and so he turned in the worst job possible.
Yeah.
Which, considering, let's say Harrison Ford is a limited actor, Jesus, it wasn't good. But obviously, having the scenes in the proper order with extra scenes put in, and the film just, I went to see it, must have been 91, 92, when it was re-released at cinemas, and just like, it just blew me away. And, I've loved it, ever since. And even now I have a certain degree of love for the strange creature that is the theatrical cut. And watching it this time, it's just kind of, I think it's a film you have to be in the mood for, certainly, because it is this sort of existential noir, and you've got, it's a lot about mood and what's unsaid and what isn't said, and it's kind of, and so obviously I didn't think it's on Saturday night when you want something that goes bang and is fun, but as I watched it last night, and it's just kind of like, it's like coming home.
Yeah.
Almost, you know what I mean? Just kind of, and just every time I watch it, it's just so well done. Though, obviously, this is rose-tinted specs, and we are supposed to, try and reassess it. I have to say, the weakest element in it is actually Ford. He's very good in some scenes. In other scenes, it's kind of, I was kind of thinking, another actor would really just bring something more to it. I just don't think he quite has the chops to really sort of to act without saying anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But the thing is, even that though, he's in such a well crafted setting with the light, the music, the sets. It doesn't detract.
Yeah.
But, that's one thing I said, well, actually, it would be a better film without Ford, to be honest. It would be better with Arnie in the role, obviously, or some of the other mad people who nearly ended up in it.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman slouching about.
Yeah. You see a turtle in the desert. No. He probably could, actually, back in the day, he probably could have pulled it off, actually.
I am
in 82, he probably could have still done it before he gave Dustin Hoffman TM.
Yeah.
Press. Are you trying to seduce me?
I think I'd like to see Alan Rickman in the role now.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And sorry, I can't do his voice. It's just too low.
Rachel will not be joining us for the
rest of his life.
Anyway, go on, carry on, Jim. Jim, quick, before we derail. The wheels are coming off. Quick.
I mean, it's one of those. This is a film that you appreciate more. I mean, I do find the interesting the difference between the cuts. The final cut, I think it does has the least changes to it in a way. If you've seen the director's cut, but the ones that are significant, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's just there's lots of. I just really do love this film. I'm gushing about it, and I was trying not to, but
no, it's cool.
it's hard not to though, because it is just kind of. It's such a well-crafted universe.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful bit of world building, but it's also just the mood and the atmosphere and the staging of it. I mean, I think they utterly made the right decision not having a big jaw off and dialogue at the end.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer's instincts, be they come from the power of Guinness or whatever, I don't know. But that was a masterstroke. It wouldn't work nearly so well if it didn't build up to that.
Yeah. That realization.
That kind of turnaround from Roy Batty where he's trying to kill Dan and he just thinks, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that moment where it's like, rather than chasing down more life, you should have just been enjoying what you had.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of like the theme of the whole thing, isn't it? Really, don't live in regret, just live. But cool. Anything else before I jump in, or?
No, that's it. Let's
lovely. Okay,
move on.
Let's move on. I mean, for me, as I said before, the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to see, as Jim said, Elton said, it's like, watch Harrison Ford, watch Han Solo in an alien film sort of thing, and got like,
Daryl Hannah's the worst Wookiee ever.
She is.
She really is.
She is a shit Wookiee.
She's a shit Wookiee.
Easier fap though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been a long time since I fapped to a Wookiee. Anyway, but I found myself sort of the second time I watched it. Yeah, I was kind of nonplussed. But both times I sat there like knowing that I'd seen something really nice. I'd seen beautiful effects. This film definitely informed my sort of love of making special effects and 3D and all that kind of stuff, even though there's no CG in it. But it definitely set me on a path along with Star Wars. But it was only when it finally came out for sale on VHS that I finally went, you know what, I'm going to watch this again. And it just twigged and it just clicked. And ever since then, I've just been shamelessly unapologetically kind of sort of signed on to the Blade Runner boat. I'm not really capable of sort of critical sort of slapping it down, because for me, I think the more I watch it, the more I see things in it, and the more things I appreciate, and the more sort of layers. And some of it, if there's one thing that does annoy me, just to save kind of rehashing a lot of what everyone else has said, but the one thing that does annoy me is the Deckard is a replicant thing, which we will go through in a second. The only reason it annoys me is because I read at the time in Starburst, I think it was, when there was a discussion of like a director's cut existing, was that it all came about because at the screening, to fill out the time when there was going to be another shot, there was going to be something else going on. Basically, there was a unicorn scene, reportedly seen by an usher at one of the screening rooms. That was never seen. Now, but when the director's cut was released and the unicorn scene was put in, that unicorn scene, and it is a unicorn scene that was put in after the event, isn't one that supposedly was seen by the usher. In fact, there was never a unicorn scene. Scott was adamant for months and months and months and years and years and years that there was never a unicorn scene.
Yeah.
But when the director's cut came out, a unicorn scene appeared and everyone went, see, he was lying to us. But actually, that unicorn scene is from fucking Legend.
So what's it doing in Blade Runner?
Because that's Ridley Scott film, Legend. He finally, when he went to make a director's cut and recut it, he took the unicorn scene from Legend and stuck it in his film to fulfill the fanboy requirement, because there was this one apocryphal urban legend Snopes thing about seeing a unicorn in a rough cut.
Well,
was that down to the argument between him and Ford, though? Because weren't they having arguments over whether he was or wasn't?
Well, no. There was the thing about the unicorn. Literally came from a sort of leaked report newsletter thing from an usher who was at the screening room when a rough cut was being shown.
Could it?
I got that. I'm just saying, because him and Ford were having an argument over whether or not it was. Did Scott just say, "Fine, fuck you"? This proves it. There you go.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm trying to say is that unicorn didn't exist. It was put in after the event for him to say "fuck you," whatever. That's a discussion for later on. But the point is, it was never in there, and now everyone's swearing black is blue. that was the unicorn shot for the film that was cut out, and it never was. It was from Legend.
Were they
which
misreading?
Was 2 years later.
Were people misunderstanding what the bloke meant? Because there is a unicorn in it. It's the bit at the end when he picks up. Do you think that's what he could have actually
Possibly.
meant? People have just kind of misunderstood that.
Possibly. But it was just a revisionist thing. That's the thing now, to this day, still annoys me, because when he does the piano thing and then it fades to a unicorn running through the forest, I'm just going, no. This is no different than sticking a bit of the fucking Shining at the end, which everyone hates. It's like, no, you've just taken 3 seconds of Legend and stuck it in your movie to justify a rumour. Just leave it alone. That's the only thing I don't like about the final cut, director's cut.
Right.
What?
No, go on.
No, that's right. Just because purely it's all about validating something which is a rumour and was subtly put in there. There's lovely subtle stuff in there which I appreciated more when I saw the final cut with Andy at the IMAX last year, which was when you see it when you see Deckard's piano, on his piano, there's a photograph of people sitting on the decking of a house. It's the same photo as Rachel has of her family, but it's framed and it's on Deckard's piano.
I just want to say, watching that on the IMAX was fucking awesome.
It was awesome. But things like that were in there from the start. That I'm down with. I don't mind if you want to make Deckard a replicant or not, but that stuff was in there. But stick a fucking like it's like just sticking a big red plaster over the top of everything. Go, look, I've done something new. There it is. But anyway. But as far as the film itself is concerned, all the cuts, all the different versions of it, I love all of them for different reasons. I love the noir narration of the original. I love the bleakness of the finale of the final cut. I love the kind of halfway house between the two in the director's cut, which has, shall we say, a slightly different edit, slightly different flavour, and so it feels a little bit more following Deckard around than it does the replicants. It's only subtle stuff, but I see it as a different film entirely. But as far as it goes, if there was one version I had to pick, I probably would pick this one, the final cut, because it is as close as you can possibly get to sort of like what you were expecting, looking at like the Paul Salmon book, what you were going to get. And I think the artistry, the soundtrack is astounding. Even to this day, it's still amazing work from Vangelis there. And the acting, I mean, Rutger Hauer clearly stand out. Sean Young just kind of waddles in and waddles out, and
with a hand on
her hip
all the time. And
she kind of acts like the Barbie doll. I mean, it's like within 10 seconds you kind of pegged her as something's not quite right.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer is brilliant. Byron James as Leon, he's quite funny. Just as that kind of gormless slouching about thing. You never really get to see much of Zora beyond, the chase. Yeah. And Pris is, for God's sakes, Pris is, Pris is just one of those characters which starts off feeling very vulnerable, and by the end you realise quite how manipulative and
she's
cynical as she is.
Quite mischievous, especially some of the looks she gives with Batty when they're trying to trick JF.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can almost imagine her being the brains of the outfit, the way she kind of can control Batty almost.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, sorry, someone's just sent me something with a fucking Predator thing. I'm getting cross. Anyway, so overall, I still love it. I still think it's a great film. I think it's a classic, a genuine classic. I think it looks beautiful. The acting, is variable and patchy, but the real point of it is it's the themes and the storyline and the atmosphere that it evokes and the world building and everything else that just takes it to a different level. I think it's a genuinely brilliant film, and one which has taken so long to settle in, and so many details and so well layered and so heavily done in there. The passion for the film is on the screen that you can't really. Well, I don't really think you can knock it as a bad film at all, but that's just me. But just before we get to the feedback, let's do that replicant discussion. So, is Deckard a replicant? Do you think? Do you want to say, Dan?
Okay, so barring what Ridley Scott actually said, and barring the fact that there is now a fucking sequel to Harrison Ford in it, going on initial thing, I would like to think yes, just because of the. I know it was put in there afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
But I like the fact that there's the whole thing with the unicorn in it, and then he finds the unicorn at the end, which suggests that it's Gaff's memories that he's actually got, and yes, that he is an actual replicant.
Okay.
So, Andy, I think you made a very good point about because Gaff is injured, and he used to be like the top dog. I like that.
The Gaff theory, as it were. It kind of explains the character, what purpose the character of Gaff serves. Is that... Because one thing which isn't very apparent in the film, unless you put a big Blade Runner nerd hat on, is the film starts in November 2019.
Yeah.
But Roy Batty's incept date is January 2016. So for his life to end, his 4 years to be over, that would have to be in January of 2020.
Right.
So quite a bit of time actually supposedly takes place over the film. And the Gaff theory is that after they've landed and killed everyone, they basically need the best Blade Runner they ever had to hunt them down. That Blade Runner was Gaff, but he's been injured, is out of commission. So Tyrell give them a new Blade Runner to go out, a new replicant, which they can put Gaff's memories into. And Gaff is then effectively keeping an eye on him. You know, that's how he always knows where he is, knows what he's thinking.
Yeah.
When he's afraid after Brandt gives him the mission, he's made a little chicken. When he's horny after meeting Rachel, there's a little matchstick man of a erection.
Yep.
And obviously the unicorn thing there. And one of the themes is, at the end of a film, he earns Gaff's respect, where he finally addresses him in English, you know, and effectively treats him as a, you know, you've done a man's job, sir, not a machine's job. You've done a man's job. So that's the Gaff theory. There was something else about that I was going to mention, but it has flown out of my mind. And no doubt
the eyes.
The eyes, yes.
The
way they shoot the eyes of replicants with those deep... He basically shoots it in such a way that the iris stay open for the actors, so you get reflections off of the rear of the retinas.
And he's the only human in that film that has that effect.
Mm-hmm.
No other human you don't see it with any other human being. You see it with the owl. You see it with all the replicants as well, but you never see it with any other human character apart from somebody who's supposedly human, Rick Deckard.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When they're in the room, you see it just blurred. He's standing beside Rachel, and you see him moving the shot, and you see a blurred image of his face, and you look at the eyes, and they're the same glowing thing as Rachel's, as Priss's, or Roy Batty as well. He has that same effect. The owl, the replicant owl.
Yeah, I know that. I know what you're talking about. I'm just...
But Ridley Scott wouldn't have done that by accident. Given the level of perfection and detail that he demands, you know, he would have made them reshoot the entire thing over and over again. That's there because there's a reason, at least in my mind. The reason being, Deckard is a replicant.
Okay, cool.
Oh, incidentally, there is another unicorn in the film, aside from the dream sequence and the origami one, which my friend who saw this for the first time at the PCC last week spotted. It's in JF Sebastian's toy shop. There is a unicorn. I don't think it's a model or something like that, but it's like a toy. When he's asleep in his chair and Priss is looking through the microscope, there is a unicorn doll there. So yes, another unicorn.
Cool. Okay, so that's 2-4. Now, what about you, Elton? What do you think?
I feel like I need to go back and watch this movie again. I was going to say he isn't, only for the fact that when he met up with Leon, he was thrown around.
Yeah.
Just far too easy.
Yeah.
And, by the way, Harrison Ford's acting when he gets thrown against something.
Yeah.
It's like a child.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of looks shocked and kind of shudders a bit.
Yeah. What? Okay. You know, It's like a child acting. But I would have said no just for the fact that he gets thrown around a bit too easy.
Mm.
You know, if he wasn't, then I think he would have been a bit of a match. But I don't know. I need to go back and watch this again.
I would say about that, it harks back to when he meets Rachel and he turns to her and he goes, "How doesn't it know what it is? If you don't know you have these abilities, if you don't know you can do this sort of thing, presumably you can't." Or alternatively, they just weren't. Him and Rachel are evidently a different, a version 2.0 of the Nexus 6, if you will. Might not have that ability installed because Rachel certainly doesn't display any.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. If you want to make a replicant that's very close to being human, you're not going to give it superhuman abilities. You're going to try and make it. If it's an experimental model and you want to see if people spot it, then you make it as human as possible. You give it all the same sort of strength as a human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, Jim.
I definitely in the final cut, he is a replicant.
Yeah.
The eye thing, which I believe it's when Rachel's asking him, "If I ran away, would you come and hunt me down?" I think that's when you get the the eye thing. So I was watching especially for it because I know it's in this cut.
Yeah.
And was just watching the eyes all the time. Just all right, yeah, it is there. But the clincher for me is the unicorn.
Yeah.
Is the fact that Gaff knows he has implanted memories. I really do like the thing that it is Gaff's memories he has. That makes so much sense, and particularly Gaff's last night. You've done a real man's job.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're a real boy now, Pinocchio.
Actually,
but there's also
really
to Elton's point though, Ford takes a hell of a beating.
Yeah.
Throughout this film, and just like a Timex, just keeps on ticking.
But does he though? Because I mean, he does. Like he fucking gets hammered, falls asleep in a chair after about 10 seconds. He's just fucking knackered. I mean, he's in a bit of a state after the first run in. He's just running after blooming Zora. He's fucking knackered, and he's
true. But you remember, isn't Zora a combat model?
Yeah.
Combat infiltration. I think an ordinary human, he wouldn't be waking up again after the strangling.
And after someone just karate chops you to the throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There is that sort of thing. It's not overplayed, and it is kind of, is it just fan wank? But there is that sort of thing. He is quite resilient, actually. So I think he definitely is. But I mean, it's the eyes. It's the eyes and the unicorn, to me, are the smoking guns for it. And I think in the final cut, he most definitely is. I think kind of, if I remember rightly, it's kind of, there's a lot of that in the director's cut, but it's not, there's a touch of ambiguity to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember if the eye glows in the director's cut.
Definitely not.
It's not as much as it is in the, I mean, that might just be the cleaned up frames, but yeah, it's nowhere near as apparent.
That's what I thought. I know the unicorn is, and that's
yeah.
And that's the whole kind of he bloody is. He's a robot.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I mean, for me, obviously the everything you're saying is bang on. The unicorn and the unicorn sort of origami. Yeah, and as I said before, there's that thing with the fact that his family photos on the piano are the same as Rachel's, which is a lovely subtle little thing which is just chucked in there. But for me, this whole thing of him being a replicant is kind of like a twist to nowhere. It doesn't. It's the one thing I kind of feel like. What does it add? Because the one thing that from the original cut, which I always appreciated, and I still appreciate to this day, even when I do watch the original cut, and I do sometimes watch it, is that the whole point is that because the replicants have such a short lifespan, they end up having to appreciate what they've got. and be be more human than human, just like Tyrell says, and understand humanity and actually empathise in a way that actually they start off they're not allowed to do, and then by the end of it, when Batty basically saves Deckard, he ends effectively winning because he has finally done what Tyrell set out for him to do, which is become more human than human. He's sitting there, perfection in every way. He's empathised with everything. He understands. He celebrates life in a way that just no one else is doing in this bleak apocalyptic hellhole. And the human who's left behind, who's done a man's job, is actually exactly that. You've done man's job. You've just sat there blankly watching the world go by and just let something fantastic die in front of you and been pretty emotionless about the whole thing because it's just like, you don't, you're not given the 4-year lifespan. You're not given that shit, and so you don't appreciate life. Whereas the replicants all do because that is the way it is. If you suddenly make Deckard a replicant, that aspect of the film, that little beautiful counterbalance of like, well, actually humanity's corrupt and bored and really shouldn't be living, and all these lovely, fantastic, vibrant creatures over here which crave life are living life so much faster and so much brighter than everyone else, and as Tyrell says, that the loss of them is more of a loss than the loss of humanity, sitting over there slumped in a corner getting wet, looking basically slightly dishevelled. And suddenly you make Deckard a replicant and it's like, oh, okay. Everyone's pretty much just fucked. And it's like, just it robs that whole power thing with the replicants away. That, they're not just, it's, if you don't tell them that they're going to die in 4 years, then they'll just slouch around like everybody else. You know what I mean? To me, just
counterpoint a little bit there. I would say one of the things is it's at that moment. So when Batty jumps across the rooftop, he looks down at Deckard just holding on there, and the music kind of riffs up at that point.
Yeah,
he's about to fall. At that point, I think Roy kind of comes to terms with who he is, comes to terms with what he is, and accepts it, lifts him up, and he gives his little bit, and he says the line about how terrible thing to live in fear. That is what it is to be a slave. He's no longer afraid. He is in effect free, and now Deckard is afraid. Deckard has now become a slave because he is now in fear. He is in fear that he is a replicant. So, and I also don't think it takes anything away by him being a replicant in that everything you just said is equally true, whether it was man on man or machine sort of thing. They're more human than human, but they are. One of the main themes in this is what is it to be a man? What is it to be human? What makes you human? So, for me, I don't think that takes him being a replicant doesn't take away from your point.
I will have to agree to disagree on that one because, I mean, for me, the whole point is that's that soliloquy that Batty gives at the end is a celebration of his life, of all the things he's done, of all the stuff that he's crammed in to that tiny space of time. I've seen things you people would not believe. I've done things. I've seen things, I've experienced things, so many things, so quickly. I've lived such a short life, and as Tyrell says, you burn twice as bright, you live half as long. It is, they are concentrated vitality stuck in a corrupt hellhole of Los Angeles. And Deckard is just part of that machine. He's just humanity, bland and boring and fickle and failing and generally a bit of a washout, and for him to suddenly experience the fact that everyone in LA is disconnected and not talking to each other and generally treating each other like shit, but the replicants are all looking out for each other, keeping each other alive, and craving photos, craving the past, craving the future, wanting more, whereas humanity's just symbolised by the city. It's just corrupt and dying, and it's just vapid and flat, and it takes something like the replicants to come along and go, hey, look, this is it. This is what you should be doing. You should be getting out there and enjoying things and seeing all this stuff. But instead, you're all just sitting in a shitty hellhole worrying about whether or not you got a plastic owl.
I think this is the thing to support the whole Deckard. Is it replicant?
Yeah.
What you're saying about about the thing about short life, realizing what you've got. Yeah, absolutely true. But this we're talking about. I mean, what does that make Rachel then?
No, but that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. It's the thing with her is she starts to experience all these emotions. But she doesn't understand what she is. But when she comes to realise it, that's when she's suddenly full on with Deckard. She's suddenly changed. She changes because she realises what she is, and so she becomes, she becomes like a fully fledged woman. Wants to escape, wants to run, wants to do things and experience love and all this kind of stuff.
So what's not saying that Deckard is exactly the same because he doesn't know he's a...
Because you never get anything. There's nothing in the plot or story narratively. And I mean, I know we've got all these gaff theories and all this sort of stuff, and I know in the final cut you got the unicorn and what have you that actually cements the answer, and yes, he is a replicant. But he never discovers anything about himself throughout the whole film.
I disagree. The last scene, I think he does actually experience that one time.
Yeah,
okay?
But
he's about to die.
But that's interpretation, because the thing is, that's interpretation based on we've seen the unicorn, we've seen that.
No. I'm not talking about the unicorn. Forget all the unicorn rubbish. Okay, forget all of that. Chuck that straight out of the window. I'm talking about that one time. He's hanging on the ledge, right? He's now in the same position as Batty, right? His life is about to end, and Batty stops that. He slips, and that's it. He thinks, "Fuck, this is it." Batty saves his life, teaching him a lesson. Bringing it back up. So where is he doesn't learn anything? No, I don't agree with that at all. I think there is I think it has a fundamental effect on him at the end.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is there's nothing in the narrative of the story, not just being saved and having the revelation that actually the replicants aren't all bad. I'm talking about throughout that story. Is there anything in that story where knowing that he's a replicant changes anything? That's what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't. There's nothing in that story that changes all the way through to the very end. And at the very end, if you say, oh, he's a replicant, you go, okay, he's a replicant. And all you've done is you've actually diminished the end with Batty and added a twist in the tale that was not established throughout the rest of the film, just to go, ta-da!
But there's nothing to suggest in the film that he knows he is a replicant.
No, that's my point.
Well, if he doesn't know, then he's not had that moment of realisation that Rachel had.
Yeah, but the point is, how does that serve the story? How does that serve anything? He doesn't do. There's nothing in that story all the way through, with the exception of the unicorn, which we'll just ignore for the moment. But there's nothing that says, oh yeah, he's a replicant, so therefore he's going to act differently or he's going to do something differently. He doesn't. It's just a twist in the tale at the very end to go, well, there you go, didn't see that coming. And it's like, fine. Now what you've done is you've taken one of the major themes of like the corruption of humanity and the general fact, the malaise and lack of morals that humanity's descended into, the corruption of everything, against this glorious shining light of these replicants who are off, living life. You've taken that bit away, all to just stand there and shake your hands in the jazz hands fashion and go, hey, guess what? He's a replicant. You didn't see that. Doo-doo.
I know what you're saying, Lee, and I do understand your point from what you're getting across there. But my takeaway, it goes back to an earlier line from Rachel where she goes to him, have you ever retired a human by mistake? I think the question, I don't think anything's taken away whether or not he's a replicant or a human. And as a slight aside, this discussion right now is why I do not want fucking Blade Runner 2, because I don't want a definitive answer. But anyway, when she says, have you ever retired a human by mistake? And then later on asks, have you ever taken that test yourself? It doesn't matter if he's a human or a replicant. Not take away. It's about what is it to be human. Is it flesh and bone that makes you human, or is it something else that Roy discovers later on that makes him human?
Yeah, but that's
at the end of the film, Roy embraces his humanity. He becomes human. But I don't think whether or not Deckard is a human or is not a human takes away from that revelation. It doesn't take away from his soliloquy. He's basically saying in that moment, it's not a good thing to live your life as a slave, to live in fear. I have seen these wonderful things. I have come to terms with it. I'm at peace. I am going to die, and these moments will be gone. Goodbye. He's basically just saying to him, yep, I've had a good one.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, I get that. But what I'm trying to say
Taxi.
is, taxi. But that's what I'm saying. If the theme is, what is it to be human? Then surely the whole point of, having flawed, failing, generally malaised, godlike humans floating around on Earth, just being kind of like, whatever. Oh, I've got a real life owl now. Oh, I'm still depressed. Oh, life's gone horribly wrong. We're all taking. Was it? Where the planet's overpopulated, we fucked the planet. Ooh. And then you've got these beings that come along, this star stuff that comes along and goes, "Way, this is what it's like to be human. This is what humanity is."
And go on a murder spree.
Well, yeah.
I think you may be holding up the replicants as a shining light a bit too much.
No, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair point. No, I'm trying to. I'm just.
Let's not forget what C-beams technically are. They're like massive fucking phasers.
Yes, exactly. But my point more is the case of the finale with Batty. The whole point of that is he embraces humanity. He understands. He gets the emotional level that the Voight-Kampff things were supposed to pick up. He becomes human. He understands humanity and he embraces life. Whereas humanity itself treats life as a cheap thing. That can be thrown away and disposable and recreated whenever it needs, and it's corrupt.
In that case, do you think actually the point of Roy Batty is that in the end of it, he actually transcends being human and goes on to be something
more
completely
human than human?
Yeah, he becomes more human than human.
He becomes better than human.
Yes, because he finally. He's like a child. He's only had 4 years. He's a killer child. And then the thing is, he's had all these experiences and he's had no mental capacity on how to deal with them. And then at the moment of his death, he emotionally evolves. He becomes what I think everyone is frightened that replicants will become, which is essentially humanity plus. Mm-hmm. And with Deckard being the symbol of the corrupt humanity and what's going on and how life is cheap and everything's dead and boring and ruined and generally fucked, to take that away by saying, oh, by the way, he's a replicant as well. Well then, okay, so the replicants, they represent nothing and humanity doesn't represent anything. It just, to me, that it becomes crystal clear. I mean, as much as we don't mention the narration and we're not really talking about the final cut anymore, but the thing is, the narration of that scene where he sits there and he goes, all I could do was just sit there and watch him die. It was like, it's just complete. It's a beautiful moment, but it also adds that little extra bit on top, which is he can't do anything, and he just goes, all I could do was watch him die. And it's like, appreciating the fact that he's said all these things, he's given him this thing, and he goes, I don't know why you saved me. And it's like, by the end of it, the narration is pretty much blatantly telling you that even by the end of it, Deckard is still sitting there going, yeah, okay. And humanity is ultimately fucked. It's just so totally morally bankrupt and corrupt. And to me, and again, like I say, I'm not taking away that he isn't a replicant.
Yeah.
Because obviously Final Cut makes that quite explicit. But to me, it just feels like a fake out, a twist at the end that just is not deserved and adds nothing to the story. That's
as you said, we will have to agree to disagree, sir.
I just have to wonder.
Well, what does it actually add?
Okay, well, I just have to wonder if Roy Batty and his cohorts there had a normal lifespan, do you think that would change them? I think it would, because there's no desperate need to do. It's like It's like in life. We're all guilty of this. When we're young, we say, "Oh, we'll do it later."
Yeah.
We don't live for the moment. Most of us don't, anyway.
No.
You know, we kind of say we'll do it later, and when later comes, we think, "Oh fuck, I've got no time left." And it's because you become apathetic. Now, the only reason Roy Batty's, look, this is what we should be doing in life, is because it's missing your water when your well runs dry. It's been taken away from him. That's it. He hasn't got as much as everyone else, so he has to cram it all in, so he does become desperate. And I think, had the replicants had a normal lifespan, you wouldn't be getting all this beautiful sort of like soliloquy. They'd just be like any other thing, in which case maybe the replicants are more human already than we already know. They're just as apathetic as we are. They would be just as apathetic as we are.
Something interesting, just mentioning about the lifespan there, is Brandt at the beginning says they deliberately built in the 4-year lifespan as a security device to stop them getting our emotions. But when confronted by Roy, Tyrell says, "We made you as well as we could make you. We cannot extend your lives by 4 years." So that's kind of an interesting one. Is the 4-year actually a security device, or was it an excuse to excuse the fact they only had a 4-year lifespan?
Yeah, like a moral kind of plaster to sit over the fact that you're making living beings that are deliberately set up to only live 4 years because that's all you can do. But I mean, you know, I mean that's my only qualm with all the Deckard is a replicant thing, because to me, ultimately, just in a narrative that's presented on screen, not just thinking deeper into it and going, oh, well, maybe this happened and maybe that happened and what if this happened and what if that happened, ultimately, it brings nothing to the table in the story. It just literally turns up to be a fake out. Yeah, he's a replicant. Right, and done. There's no thing. There's no point to it. That's the only thing I totally go against the whole Deckard being a replicant thing. Not because it's not in the film, not there in front of me, but just because what it does do is it just robs the film of an actual thematic thing that's been running throughout, just for the need of a fake out at the end.
I think to get to the point where you say Deckard is a replicant, like we're saying now, you have to make that. You have to think beyond that. Because again, my friend who came with me to see it for the first time ever, saw the final cut, didn't think that at all. Just walked out thinking, "Yep, he's a human. That's it." Didn't put the rest of it together at all. And I think if you start on this course where you get to the point, you're already having a deeper look at the film and looking into things, so those other things become valid. You can't just say, you can look deeper into it to say this is the fact, but you can't look deeper in it to say that is it. Just
no. I mean,
you know, you start having this conversation, you're going to follow the conversation to its natural end.
Yeah, but the point is, if it's put there explicitly for you to discover, that's what I'm saying. We've watched this film countless times. We've discussed it. We've mulled over it. The internet is awash with it. You know, it's not like something that you just narratively discover. I mean, when I watched it the first time, never occurred to me in the first place. When I watched it the 15th time and they took the narration off, never occurred to me in the slightest. When they then stuck a unicorn in it, then it occurred to me, because then it's like, oh, he did a unicorn as an origami thing. Hold on, what's going on here? And then suddenly it's all, oh, he's a replicant. It's like, lovely, fantastic. It's a great little conceit, but it's narratively adds nothing to the story at all. At all. That's the thing. You know, we can say whether or not he's supposed to be or not, or whether the plot made it that way. But don't forget that when this film first came out, it was there was no explicit, implicit anything for that to be be
When this film first came out, I was 7 months old.
Meaning, yeah, but the point. But the point is, I'm just...
Fuck you, Andy.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Andy. But the point is, I'm just saying that, you know, the story literally does not change one single jot. Not a single point. Beyond being slightly lesser for the fact that you suddenly go, well, okay, fine, he doesn't represent humanity. He's just a bumbling replicant. He didn't know, and ta-da, he's a replicant. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't thematically sit with anything else that's been going on in that story all the way through. And the fact that, you know, you had to have like 3 different versions to get to that eventually being presented to you as a fait accompli. Like, hey, guess what? He is a replicant. Thanks. Bye. And you're still sitting there going, yeah. Okay, wicked. And, I mean, that's the thing. Where's the and? You know, what's the implication? What is ultimately bringing to the story? Nothing. Not a thing.
We're just going to have to find.
I think it does bring something, because once you get to the end, you go, he's a replicant. Then if you watch it again and watch it in that knowledge, you're watching it through a different prism. And for me, it's kind of, is humanity? For me, the thing seems to be all the kind of, is humanity a state of mind rather than an inherent quality? The replicants know they're missing it and they want it and they think it's in longevity. Whereas the implication is you've got Deckard and Rachel, who they're Nexus 6 2.0s, and it's kind of, they're not sure how long they're going to live. And they both, they're machines that think they're human. So is there a difference between the humans and the machines that think they're humans and the replicants? What?
It's a human trait. But where the lifespan is concerned, going back to what we said about the powers, the strength and everything, maybe the price for living such a short life is actually because
the lack of extra vitality and
because they've got it's like as he says, it burns brightly. It's maybe turning up.
Bright, it's half as long.
Yeah, you're pushing it so it burns out a lot faster. Whereas somebody like Rachel and Deckard, who don't seem to have any special abilities like leaping over trucks or whatever, they last a lot longer because their models are not being pushed.
But that lasting a little bit, but that lasting a bit longer is only given in the narration version. Tyrell said that she had no expiry date when they're driving through the forest at the end. So as far as this is concerned, you've got 3 years. Game's over.
Not necessarily you still have Gas's final comment. Pity she won't live, but then again, who does? It's not kind of going, enjoy your 6 months.
Yeah.
Got 2 years, fucker.
Yeah. I'm going to let you run because by the time you run out of petrol, she's going to be dead.
Yep.
Hope you haven't put any tickets down for a cruise.
But the way it's phrased, it is kind of like, yeah, she's going to die, but, everyone does. And we don't know how long we've got either.
But that, again, goes back to my thing about humanity and the disposability and the nature of life. It's that ran through the first version and the second version, which is essentially just saying, live life while you can with what you've got and enjoy it. That's what that phrase says to me.
It's not
especially when you follow on from Batty's death, which is shortly before it. So again, it's not a hey, it's a big clue she's not going to die. It's more of a case of hey, make do what you got, which is essentially make the best of what you got, which is essentially the final conclusion of Batty. Again,
that's the message throughout the film. I think,
exactly,
isn't it?
which is the revelation that humanity has to come to, which is essentially the thing that wouldn't matter if they were both fucking replicants.
I think that their society in general is not one that encourages people to live life to the full. Anyway, when you look at it, it's all around them. It's
corruption and death and the world going to
down. A new world awaits you, off-world.
Yeah, exactly. That whole thing, and that's another thing about humanity that is, quite true of. We fucked this up. Look, I'll tell you
now what?
Lift the carpet up. We'll just sweep that under there, and then we'll fuck off and go and start again over there. Because look, everything's all fresh over there. Yes, let's do it.
Yes.
Not taking responsibility.
Yes, exactly. But again, the moment you're faced with responsibility is when you're sitting on the roof and the responsibility is holding you up and pulling you back to life. You're actually having to take responsibility for the fact that, hey, by the way, I was sorry about trying to shoot you, but thanks for saving me. Yeah. But no, if he's a replicant, he's just a toy. He's going to fall apart and die like everyone else in 4 years' time. As far as the final cut's concerned.
Has anybody told you got a real dark outlook on life?
No, I'm not. I'm just
such a cheery guy. Normally.
You're a real downer, dude.
I'm just saying that you can't, thematically, you can't have him be a replicant and not have it have any impact on the rest of the story, and it actually fucking doesn't.
Do you know what I'm going to do after this?
Go hang yourself.
I'm going to go and lay down in a room and listen to some whale song. That's what I'm going to do. to chew myself back up again.
Okay, fair enough. Right, I think we're going to have to stop here and get some feedback done, unless anyone's got anything additionally to add on.
So much, but I think this has to be done over a pint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh no,
one thing,
that's terrible. No, don't do it that way.
Go on, Nelton.
this is how lens flare should be done.
Oh, one last thing before we get to the feedback. Is it set in the same universe as Alien?
I think so, and also Outland.
Yeah.
As
Right.
Alien, as in the first one, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not the second one or the third or the fourth. Let's forget those for a moment, please.
They didn't exist.
Yes.
No.
They're on the same coaster as the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull that apparently exists.
Yeah.
Sitting right beside the unicorn that was on the rough cut. Go on.
I would say yes that they are, because the displays are the same. Even the sound of the doors are the same as well.
It all looks broken.
And the sound of Deckard's room is actually the breathy, whizzy, wooey sound from Mother in Nostromo.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, the
And the screens on the spinner are the ones from the Nostromo when it takes off.
Yes, exactly. What they have as a landing pad being seen from the skimmer is actually the docking claw of the Nostromo when it drops away at the beginning. Yep.
Also those Purge and, is it Initiate? You know, those big red ones on the thing.
Yep.
Lots of little stuff like that, which is cool.
Right. Well, shall we move on to some feedback then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Now put your hands up, here online, doing real fine. We're doing our podcast thing. It's called Blackdog. It's not like a joke. Is anyone there listening? What do you think of our show? Let us know by MP3 or email. Just get it to us. It ain't no fuss. We'll even read your Twitter rings. Cause if you like us or you hate us, send some feedback in. Got a geek and point to raise and put some feedback in. If you think my voice is sexy, put some feedback in. Man, we really like it if you put some feedback in.
Right, okay, so feedback. Okay, well, we've got not very much feedback, actually, but thank God for that, because the discussion's been going on for far too long.
And another thing, Medcut. No.
Yeah, shut up. It doesn't mean anything.
You're wrong.
You're all wrong. Anyway, so my piece of feedback is from Martin Thompson, and Martin writes, Dear Skin Jobs, I was looking forward to watching this again because, although it's a really iconic film, I didn't like it the first time I saw it. This is only the second time I've seen it, and the first was back in college over 15 years ago. I think it was the director's cut, and although I appreciate it, I didn't really like it, if that makes sense. Dystopias have never really been my thing. This time round, it was at the Prince Charles with Darren and Andy, and I enjoyed it all the more. I did find it a little bit slow going, and the synth score felt a little bit dated to me, but I expect it was fresher. I expect it was fresher at the time, and at least it isn't a pop-laden as some 80s films were. It's a wonderfully designed film, and of course very influential one. Sean Young's performance is wonderful, and the ending is perfect. Congrats to Lee on a new job too. Yay! Cheers, Martin, the chaotic neutral. Thank you very much for that, Martin. Very good indeed. So, there you go. Right. Well, that's a positive. Coming in from a negative. That's good. Let's move on, Darren.
Okay, I shall read out. Let's see, this one's from Mark Last.
Aha.
And he writes, Evening, Lee, Darren, Jim, and Elton, and Andy.
And yeah, obviously Andy. That was definitely
indeed. No, he knew that was.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fiery the angels fell, deep thunder rolled across the shores, burning with the fires of Orc.
Did that as well?
I couldn't do my usual Wrath of Khan one. It just wasn't appropriate. So,
Mr. Lepedamine, you use your mouth prettier than a $20 whore. Charming to the last.
But anyway, he
time
writes,
to die.
Evening, Lee, Darren, Jim, and Elton, and Andy. So, Blade Runner. Just a short one this week, gents. Simply put, I love Blade Runner. It's a perfect crossover between my two favourite movie genres, film noir and sci-fi. I managed to see it on the big screen for the first time a couple of weekends ago at the BFI, and urge anyone yet to do so to go and see it at the cinema. The future LA cityscapes are truly impressive on the big screen, and the Vangelis soundtrack is a thing of beauty when blasted through a decent sound system. Say what you want about Ridley Scott's later output, but for me, Blade Runner, along with Alien, have impacted modern science fiction more than any other films I can think of. Two things struck me on the latest viewing. It's a lot more graphic than I remember, particularly when Roy pushes Terrell's eyes through his head, and when Roy pushes a nail through his hand. Is it me, or does Deckard come off as a bit rapey in the scene with him and Rachel in the apartment? Funny you should say that.
No, it's not just you.
No, it's not. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm sure this is going to be an epic length episode, so we'll be discreetly shuffle off into the background and allow my fellow Black Doggers to have their say. Keep up the good work, fellas. Mark.
Oh, thank you very much for that, Mark. Actually, yeah, it's extra special length, but actually that's because we haven't stopped waffling on about it.
Yes,
and
it's a film that
and
provokes
trailers,
much discussion,
and trailers,
and trailers.
Anyway, moving on. Right, so thank you very much for that, Mark. So who's next, Jim? Who do you have?
We have that well-known supervillain, Dr. Will Catlin Hallett.
Fiendish Dr. Will.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
You done fucked up now.
And who writes? Subject line: do fanboys dream of electric girls? I think fanboys dream of electric grills, to be honest. Anyhow.
Does George Foreman dream of electric grills?
I'm so proud of it, I put my name on it.
I can drink fat right out of the tree.
Anyhow, Will writes, greetings all. The bottom line is that Blade Runner is an excellent film. The design, the music, the story are all wonderful. Rutger Hauer is particularly good, and I'm sure you've covered his iconic speech several times by now. Even the original versions with the voiceover are brilliant, and I found it didn't bother me at all, although it wasn't necessary and it works better without. There are excellent, memorable quotes, and there are plenty of good scenes that stay with you. Surely that's a sign of a good film. Yes, there are weak points, e.g., how do you manage to look around objects in a 2D photograph? But these can be happily explained away by, it's the future! Really, the only major downside is the rape scene. I can't believe they kept it as it was, even after re-editing it for the final cut. I'm sure they could have cut it differently, but instead it just left a really bitter taste in my mouth. I still love the film, but that scene really upsets me. Some people might argue that she's a machine, you can't rape a machine, but that's been said about black people in the past, and given she's meant to be more human than human, it doesn't really stand up.
No.
I'm not going to go into a full review of the film, because I'm sure better people have said everything I would want to say. Instead, I wanted to give a bit of food for thought about the whole Deckard, replicant or not debate. I've not done any research about this. This is just my views based on watching it. I know Gaff leaving a paper unicorn is meant to show that he knows what Deckard's dreams are, signifying he's a replicant, or at least Gaff believes so. Gaff's line, "You've done a man's job, sir," seems to back this up. On top of this, there's the stuff that Deckard knows, or brackets doesn't know. According to the opening crawl, replicants are specifically the Nexus range of robots. But if it was the Nexus 6 model that mutinied, resulting in the banning of replicants on Earth and the creation of the Blade Runner units, whilst the Blade Runners may have taken out earlier model Nexus, it seems likely that the majority of their concern would have been around the Nexus 6. So why doesn't Deckard know the details of this model, such as the lifespan, learned emotions, etc., which Bryant and Gaff seem to know intimately? If he wasn't retiring Nexus 6s before, what was he retiring? Could it be that his implanted memories tell him he's a Blade Runner, but just didn't give him the specifics of the job? And maybe this is why he needs to go and practice running the Void Comp test, because he hasn't actually done it before. It's not realistic that Terrell wouldn't have seen it before, so he could just be putting on an act for Deckard's benefit. Bryant says that Rachel is a Nexus 6, so the only difference seems to be that she's a Nexus 6 with implanted memories. Perhaps this is why it takes so long to get the results from the VK, or perhaps it's just because Deckard is inexperienced. On the other hand, there seems to be a lot of evidence that he's not a replicant. He's very sensitive to pain. He's no stronger than a normal human. He gets so tired he falls asleep in the middle of a conversation. He doesn't even seem to find the skills he didn't know he had, like Rachel does when she plays the piano. If he is a replicant, he is clearly the same type as Rachel, a Nexus 6 with implanted memories, but with all the benefits, superior strength and agility, according to the opening text, taken away. Fits with the more human than human motto, but doesn't give him any advantage in hunting other replicants. And, more importantly, he just doesn't seem to be that good at his job. Surely, if they were designing a replicant to hunt down other replicants, they'd be better at it. Consider this. Zora would have killed him, which would have been really justified after that really stupid voice, if someone hadn't walked in and interrupted her. Leon would have killed him, but was shot by Rachel. Pris would have killed him, but decided to run down the corridor and do some flips instead. Why did she break his neck when she had him pinned? Roy gave Deckard the chance after chance to win, but still ended up having to save his life. So, if he is a replicant, I don't understand why they bothered. He succeeded. It was more luck than judgment. Okay, if he had died, it would have meant an actual human didn't die, but I can't see them having a whole production line of these experimental replicants on hand to carry on when the previous one gets killed. Unless you suppose that Holden was a replicant as well, and Deckard was just the next in line. Anyway, that's my 2 penneth. Do with it what you will. Kindest regards, Fiendish Dr. Will. P.S., because I can't resist mentioning some of my favourite lines and scenes. Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard? All the Atari adverts. Clearly, this was before they buried all those copies of the E.T. in the desert.
Not far before.
I'm working. What are you doing? Arresting you. That's what I'm doing. This is for Zora. This is for Pris. Fuck Leon. He was a knob. PPS, if Darren's reading this, I apologise for all the long words. Next time, I'll try and keep it to single syllables.
Cheeky fuck. Fiendish Dr.
He knows me so well. He really does.
Fiendish Dr. Will, you done fucked up now. Well, thank you very much for that, Will. Thank you, Jim. I inadvertently gave you the longest feedback of the evening. Anyway.
Yes, you can rape machines.
Longer than all the feedback before.
Yeah. Sorry, Ellen, what was that?
Yes, you can rape machines.
Can you?
Yes.
Are you thinking of that iPad extension?
No, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking more of Darren Diamond and the leaf blower.
Or a certain other person in a
Dyson
certain,
Airblade.
Yeah, a Dyson Airblade.
She was asking for it.
Oh, right, okay.
What was she doing?
That's like that type of argument, is it?
Well, if you will blow on my balls, what do you expect?
As far as the breaking the fingers, he didn't kill Leon.
How does he know?
Well, Rachel killed him. She shot him in the head.
But how does he know? He never saw Leon get killed.
He saw his head explode, and then he saw Rachel standing there holding the gun like
No,
this.
how does Roy know?
How does Roy know?
Oh, Roy.
Yeah.
It comes back to how does Roy know who Deckard is? Evidently, he's been following him or doing research or found out.
And and how does Tyrell know Roy's name?
Let's not pull on this particular thread at this point.
Yeah, come back for part 2 of Blade Runner. Why
The Unraveling.
Things go wrong. It's all the wheels have come off.
Yes.
So,
Andy versus Medcar.
no, it's fine. With a little hug in the end. Right, Elton.
I have Lee Harvey.
Our resident boxer now, sponsored by the Blackdog.
So you want to be a boxer, want to be the champ.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever bring you down. Except for that punch to the throat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so go on in now, and what's he got to say?
Right, subject. Do androids dream of handing in feedback on time? Fuck! Forgot the feedback. Ridley Scott builds fantastic worlds. Love the atmosphere, especially the contrast between the dirty city and the cleansing rain. Could have played to more Deckard's wondering if he was a replicant. Bit weird at the end with Roy. Cheers, guys. Lee. Sent from my HTC.
There you go. Short, sweet, and to the point. Thank you very much for that, Lee.
I'm guessing he rushed it.
I'm guessing he never saw it. Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. And yes, Lee is doing a Just Giving page, sponsoring, and the Blackdog's sponsoring him, and he's going to have Winston on his back or on his pants or something.
As a tattoo.
This conversation is not getting any better.
Either way, he's going to have it visible when he falls over. But there you go. Andy.
Yes, late breaking news coming in live from the Facebook group. Scott Matheson writes, Greetings, Blackdog. No feedback from the Peacock Pongler this evening, as time has completely gotten away from me. Generally, though, 2 thumbs up. Heading into London later. If anyone's around at 8:30 last night, give me a shout. Unfortunately, we have yet to master the method of time travel, but we'll get right on that and get back to you. And one more.
Yeah, go on.
Gareth Lloyd. I never had a chance to watch it again. Either my feelings were best summed up by Paul Verhoeven in a documentary a few years back when he said, Blade Runner is a great film, but I'd sooner watch Star Wars.
Ooh, there you go.
Controversial.
Well, you know.
Depends which one, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Which Star Wars? If he said Phantom Menace, we'd be having words.
Good Lord, yes.
Right, okay, cool.
Phantom Menace, I'd be poking his fucking eyeballs out.
Burning his house down. Right, anyway, so actually, there's one last piece of feedback, and then we can all go home. Yay. Which is from Anne-Marie and the Reverend Pete of the Borg cast. This one is written feedback, not MP3, and they wrote in to say, hello chaps, excellent film, one of Peter's top 5 and one which Anne-Marie describes as being a masterpiece, but one which you have to be in the right frame of mind to appreciate and give your full attention to, rather than our usual beard-up state, hence the lack of MP3 feedback this time. All the best with the new job, Lee. Cheery bye, the Orgs. There you go. And you can hear the Orgs on their podcast, which is the Broadcast, which you can find on Geek Planet Online, on iTunes, and on Tumblr and all good bookshops. Anyway, so there you go. So that's it. That's the feedback done. The feedback was actually shorter than the review this time, which is kind of a shocker.
We've still got a podcast that's longer than the bloody film we reviewed, but
yeah, that's true.
You'll pay for it next week, mate. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes, and let's talk about next week, because next week we're going to be reviewing a mystery monocle for me. And is it? Have you seen this before, Darren?
No, but I've seen bits of it.
And I'm guessing, Elton, you haven't seen this film?
No.
Lucky you.
Jim has, though.
I have, yeah.
So, Jim, could you tell us a little bit about Star Crash?
Well, Star Crash was a product of the Italian film industry in its mockbuster phase, where they would latch onto a popular American property and rush out their own version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, often this resulted in a film on loosely the same premise, because they actually used to rush these out before they'd even seen the film.
Nice.
And in the wake of Star Wars, they gave us Star Crash. I only recently caught it. It has a reputation of being one of the worst movies ever made.
Really?
Oh, yes.
You think so?
And it is quite a delight. It is thoroughly atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
It steals left, right, and centre, not just from Star Wars and concept shows, but from
everything.
The whole of sci-fi across the board, and even things outside sci-fi. It is a real we'll just throw this in. This will work. Honest. It'd be quite a good bingo card film if someone. You spot where they're stealing from the crib stuff for. It's thoroughly mental. I mean, I watched it in kind of just like delirious disbelief. On the upside, though, it stars the very lovely Carolyn Monroe.
Oh, hello.
There you go.
Hey, that's a lady right there.
I think it's just one of the. It's just sufficiently demented You just keep rolling along,
Right.
along with it. I mean, I had. It's not a good film. It's a terrible film, but it was an entertainingly terrible film. It's an interesting cultural artifact.
Nice.
Hasn't it got Hasselhoff in it?
No.
And Christopher Plummer.
Is it?
Yeah. Hasselhoff's he's the lead role.
Oh, God.
There's a beautiful quote here from Christopher Plummer. Can I read this quote?
Yeah, sure.
What the
This
fuck
quote
is that?
Christopher Plummer on Star Crash. Give me Rome any day. I'll do porno in Rome as long as I can get to Rome. Getting to Rome was the greatest thing that happened for me. I think I was only there for about 3 days in Rome on that one. It was all shot at once.
3 days.
That's how the Italians did it.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Let's not waste any time, eh? Nice. So, Andy, have you actually seen this film?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, well...
I thought this was the Turkish Star Wars when you first mentioned it.
No. No.
But fortunately, even you guys have limits.
Well, no, it's just I haven't discovered a copy of it yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, it'll happen.
It's unfortunate we couldn't do Humanoid as
Oh,
a double
God.
bill with this one.
Richard Keel.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I
And
went to see that.
fucking- was that Abomination from the bloody 80s, The Return of Captain Nemo. Put those three together.
Yeah,
There we go.
and Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden
Space
Zone.
Hunter with the giant space herpes.
Mhm.
Is that the one, or is that
No,
Space
that's
Pirates?
Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates. There we go.
So I was getting Space Hunter confused with Metal Storm.
Yeah, no, Space Hunter is the one with, what's his name? Ham Tyler. Michael Ironside. Hanging from a crane with a big robot arm that's clearly so heavy you can barely lift it. Just sort of growling from the roof. And
Look at me, I'm mean and moody.
yeah, exactly. And who is it? Molly Ringwald as a sex robot, come fighting robot when it gets reprogrammed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was a terrible film. Anyway, it's the first one I saw in 3D, mind you.
What was
Space Hunter and the Adventures in the Forbidden Zone
that's
was
right,
3D.
yeah.
Along
It's
with
the old like green and red 3D.
yeah, along with Metal Storm, which came out after it, but I never saw that at the cinema. Anyway, and also, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be pleased to know that our friend and bunker dweller, Mr. Chris Johnson, has actually supplied the full movie sitting on YouTube. He has linked to it, which we will be posting up another link on the Facebook group in the public area, but it's in the files at the moment.
Yeah.
So there you go. So everyone enjoy that.
Get your pitchforks ready. We'll meet outside his place and we'll sort him out.
I'm not in.
Ambassador, you are spoiling us.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to send in feedback for Star Crash, God have mercy on your soul, then send it in to blackdog@geekplanetonline.com. And any bags of flaming dog shit, please just do me a favour and just leave them off of my doorstep just so I can get out of the house. That'd be lovely. Cheers. Right. Okay, well, it's time to wrap it up. Guys, you want to plug your podcast and then we'll be away. Jim.
You can hear me every week on my own podcast, Hypnobobs. This week, starting a 2-part special on the various manifestations of the woman in black.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find that on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Geek Planet Online, and at hypnobobs.geekplanetonline.com.
Lovely. Elton?
You can catch me on the grandprixpodcast.com where I'm talking about cars going round in circles. You can catch me and Jim on Witlist for the Defence at witlist.geekplanetonline.com. And as we mentioned last week, we are talking about Aliens versus Predator.
Yes. Yes, you are. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so that's it. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Andy, for joining us.
You're welcome, sir.
You haven't got anything else to plug, have you?
I'm currently building a pulse rifle, which will be finished hopefully in the next week or so.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, fine. In which case, I'd just like to say to everyone, thank you very